That we'll talk more about this game in just a moment, but we're going to step away and take a break for the playing of our national anthem. Right, we are set for PG CBL Baseball West Division action between the Elmira Pioneers and the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. Normally, this is where I would give you the starting lineups for both teams, but I'm going to extend the olive branch and roll out the red carpet here to give you the starting lineups for your visiting Elmira Pioneers. It's Farrell Hudson.
Thank you, Dre. Let's get to the Pioneers starting lineup in game number 40 tonight for Elmira. This is road game number 20. Pioneers 8-11 across 19 ball games. Aiden Grabowski, the shortstop, to lead things off. Ben Rody, the EH, who's been one of the most phenomenal hitters over the course of 2025, bats second. TJ Germesti leads the team in OPS across 20 or more ball games. He's in right field batting third. Manny Castro is the third baseman. He'll clean up. A nice welcome addition in his return season to the soaring capital of the world. Brett Baker in center field bats fifth. Cooper Smith at first base will bat sixth. Carl Wagner doing the catching, batting seventh. Brandon Dubeck, the DH, out of Maplewood, New Jersey, second season as a Pioneer. He'll bat eighth. Liam O'Neill, the second baseman, bats ninth. Cam Levesque, a Liberty League champion with the RPI Engineers this year, rounds out the Pioneers batting order.
And they will be facing the left-hander for the Jamestown Tarp Skunks, Colin Balla. 2-1 with a 1.48 ERA, 24 and a third innings pitched to this year. Last time out, pitched a complete game. Gave up one run in that one, and it was spectacular. Elmira, hate to say, is going to have a very tough test ahead of them, as Balla has been lights out in his last few starts.
And you never want to put yourselves in a position to potentially fail, Dre, but for the Pioneers right now, you can only look forward, not in the rearview mirror. You have 5 games coming up, 3 against teams that you're chasing. If you want to sneak into that last spot in the PGCBL West Division, you're going to have to go up against good pitching. You're playing 4 of your final 5 games on the road. That prepares you for the playoffs, because if the Pioneers get in, you know they're going to be one of the bottom 2 seeds. Highest they can finish right now is 3.
All right, let's give you the defensive lineups for the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. From left to right, it's going to be Eric Weeks, Justin Bremner, and Ben Slanker. From third to first, Brady McGuire, Brady Marshall, Aiden Nolasco, and Nolan Smith. Behind the dish is Branson Lindquist, and Farrell Hudson is going to call the top of the innings here tonight.
Thank you, Dre. As we get you set for first pitch, as you alluded to, a warm 83-degree Wednesday evening here from Detrick Park in Jamestown. Colin Bola set from the left side of the rubber. Fires a first pitch strike to Aiden Grabowski.
Let's go ahead and take a look at game time weather. 83 degrees, as you mentioned, as we're just on time, 6:31.
Grabowski, a high pop-up, right side of the infield, shallow right field. In charges Slanker, calls off the second baseman Nolasco, and Ben Slanker puts it away to retire Grabowski for out number 1.
You know, you mentioned in the pregame, it's kind of been a tale of 2 teams, with Jamestown starting off 9-9 and then going on a pretty much torrid run. And I think it really has to do with, there's a difference between the way that Frank Jagoda has set up his team as opposed to most other teams in the PGCBL, and we'll talk about that in a moment.
It's Ben Rohde to dig in. 1 out and the base is empty. No score. Just underway in Jamestown. Top of the first. Fastball high. 1-0.
A lot of teams like to build with kind of an even bench, even amount of pitchers, even amount of bench players. Tarp Skunks with a few less on the bench, more in the bullpen and spread out. And I think that's been a great formula.
And the Tarp Skunks, like you've said, Drez, fastball misses inside to Rohde. They kept a lot of the same players. You see a lot of the same players around the infield and outfield right now that you saw earlier on in the season as the fastball clips the outside corner for a called strike 1 to Rohde.
Yeah, it was definitely a matter of, had a few latecomers coming in and finding out their chemistry with the rest of the team.
2-1, fastball lined foul out of play down the right field line.
And I think since that's happened, really around the third, fourth week of the season, you really started this team turn around and less panic button pressing. If they'd get into situations where they get down 3 runs, 4-1, you start wanting to press that panic button. And you're seeing less and less of that as the season has progressed.
That'll be a full count to Rohde with 1 out. Bola sets and fires payoff pitch, breaking ball, called strike 3. Beautifully spotted at the letters, Ben Tinks, and he's down for the second out of the inning. First strikeout of the ball game for the Southpaw Bola.
Now that's one of Colin Bola's calling cards. Will strike you out, will challenge the fasten. Also, you hear about pitchers working backwards when they're in a jam. Bola will work backwards early on in a ball game just to throw off the rhythm.
The good old Justin Verlander, right? You start off with so many breaking balls as fastball catches the corner for a called strike to Grimesti. But you start off with so much off speed, and then you gas it up later in the ball game. It's kind of like saving your energy. 2 consecutive strikes to Grimesti, and that slider's been nasty so far, Dre.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of Verlander, finally getting his first win of the season.
1-8 with the San Francisco Giants. 0-2 with 2 out. Fastball misses low to Grimesti, 1-2.
Hey, baseball fans, after the final out, hit Honest John's for fresh subs, crispy wings, and pizza that always wins. Order online at honestjohns.pizza or stop in after the game.
So it'll be a 1-ball, 2-strike count to Grimesti with 2 outs. Base is empty. No score in the top of the first. Bola sets and fires. Fastball dribbled on the ground on 3 hops to Nolasco, who has trouble fielding it, throws to first, not in time. It's going to be an E4 on the Tarp Skunks second baseman, which allows Grimesti to reach. Nolasco this season sporting only an .884 fielding percentage. Has a little bit of a tough time there.
Yeah, hasn't had a lot of opportunities with the Tarp Skunks, with Ty Lagoni and then Brady McGuire moving over to second. Nolasco had a game up in Niagara where he had 2 errors in 1 inning. And it's been a bit of a rough road, but he has been able to contribute when needed.
Fastball thrown low in the dirt on the pickoff attempt from Bola over to Smith at first.
But, I mean, you can look at fielding percentage, you can look at batting average, and in this league, I think that tells only 50% of the story. It's, the locker room leadership, how they comport themselves.
Base hit into right field for Manny Castro as Grimesti gets up to second base, so a hit and an error with 2 outs. Conversely, an error and a hit against Colin Bola have the Pioneers set up. 1 in scoring position, 2 on for the center fielder Brett Baker.
And that was a good job by Castro, taking advantage of Nolasco playing a couple of steps closer to the bag, got something inside on the zone, able to inside out it, push it to the opposite field.
Brett Baker has been one of the best Pioneers hitters so far in 2025, a .377 batting average since his arrival on June 27th. As an RBI opportunity here with 2 outs, and the breaking ball misses off the outside corner, 1-0.
And there goes Bola working backwards again. Starting off with the breaking stuff, working toward that fastball.
And Baker was 2 for his first 5 across 2 ball games, scored a run, had an RBI single in a pinch hit appearance against Batavia back on June 28th. Fastball, outside corner, called strike 1, and the count levels. So it'll be a 1-1 to Baker with 2 outs. Grimesti leads off of second, Castro off of first. Manny Castro in his 3rd game as a Pioneer in 2025. Outfield's at medium depth as Bola
Takes a look at Grimesti off of second. Long look from Bola. Sets and fires 1-1. Swing and a miss. Fastball inner third. Baker cuts through it 1-2.
Something interesting as far as the weather here at Detrick Park. Uncharacteristically, the wind blowing out to left. Normally when you get a wind here, it's going to blow from left to right. Opposite way this way. And kind of blowing out more towards center. So that might be something to look at.
1-2 with 2 outs. Baker lines the fastball foul. Third base side out of play. Colin Bola, in his year at Penn State Behrend in 2024, named to a Division III Baseball.com All-Region 7th third team, 2.74 ERA. Was tied for 7th in conference play with 28 strikeouts. Comes set from the middle of the rubber, fires home a 1-2, and the breaking ball lined into left field. That's carrying back, going back on it, and settling under it is Weeks, and he puts it away for the final out of a scoreless first inning for Colin Bola. So in the inning for the Pioneers, no runs on a hit, an error, 2 runners stranded on base, half an inning through, no score.
I've definitely got more comfortable being in front of the camera, and I got to meet new people. If you are into cameras and news and stuff, I would come here. You get to do a lot of cool stuff. You go to one of those baseball games, usually you're just stuck in the stands. But with us, no. You can go on the roof or on the field.
If people want to learn more, you just have to go to CCS-TV.com.
Schultz is the place where you can not only find your next new car, you can customize it exactly how you want it. Build a vehicle from one of your favorite brands, secure rebates and incentives, and expect delivery within 6 to 8 weeks. Get the keys to your ride in-store or in your own driveway and enjoy a year of complimentary Schultz Auto Care. Walk in to view our exciting inventory of vehicles arriving daily, or schedule your digital consultation online today to discover why we say you can't beat a Schultz deal.
Sponsor of CCS TV's coverage of the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. At Wegmans, every day you get our best from farm fresh ingredients to helpful people who care. Stop in today and see how Wegmans is helping people live healthier, better lives, one meal at a time. All right, Jamestown starting lineups. For the Skunks, leading off and playing third base, Brady McGuire. Batting second at first base is Nolan Smith. Batting third, the right fielder, Ben Slanker. Justin Bremner will bat cleanup in center field. The extra hitter, Nathan Borchardt, bats fifth. Batting sixth, the shortstop, Brady Marshall. Eric Weeks bats seventh. He'll play in left field. Dom Costello, the designated hitter, bats eighth. Aiden Alasko at second, bats ninth. And catching and batting 10th is Branson Lindquist.
And on the mound for the Elmira Pioneers is Garrett Rochon. 35 1/3 innings of work for the Ottawa, Ontario native. He's allowed only 11 earned runs in the process, sporting a 2.8 ERA. That's third best of any Elmira Pioneer in 2025. He's got 34 strikeouts in that time frame. Walks a tad high, but pitching to an opposing batting average of 160. Garrett got the victory here on June 22nd in Game 1 of the doubleheader. Pioneers 1-1 at Detrick Park, 1-2 against the Tarp Skunks overall. That came at a 5-3 win 31 days ago.
As Brady McGuire stands in, batting .360 on the season. It'll be McGuire, Smith, and Slanker. 1-2-3 here, bottom of the first inning. No score, and the first pitch. Up high, the appeal down. Says no swing, so 1-0. McGuire's been playing second of late, sliding over to third, giving Blake Herman a day off. Fouls that one into the glove of Wagner. And it's 1-1.
And that's exactly what you mentioned, Dre. Breaking ball, and then you go right back to the heater there. Can be a bit of a throw-off, and Brady McGuire lucky with that first check swing. A nice pitch at the letters originally from Roshan.
So now 1-1. Tarp Skunks already clinching a playoff spot. There's a curveball that's hit right to center field. Baker takes a couple of steps back, gloves it, and the first out of the inning.
And that brings us the Pioneers' defensive alignment. Cam Levesque getting the start in left field. Brent Baker, who just made the catch in center. TJ Gurmesti in right, left to right in the infield. At third base, Manny Castro. Aiden Grabowski, the shortstop. Liam O'Neill at second. Cooper Smith at first. Carl Wagner behind the plate.
As Nolan Smith stands in, .325 average. Has been the defensive stalwart at first base for the Tarp Skunks. Takes the first pitch outside, and it's 1-0.
Nolan Smith groomed from one of those really outstanding programs in SUNY Cortland. Joe Brown among top 10 of Division III coaching wins leaders of all time.
Another breaking ball misses up and away. 2-0. Roshan looks like he's having a little bit of a grip issue on that curveball. Coming out a little bit early. 2-0. And that one misses maybe a little high. 3-0. I've had some interesting umpiring here the last couple of games, I'll say that. 3-0 pitch. That one catches the outside corner. Maybe a little too far off the corner, and that was a makeup strike.
It's interesting, though, Dre, talking with a lot of old-school baseball fans, they say, hey, well, maybe you don't want to have even the ABS at the MLB level. This human judge balls and strikes is kind of what makes the game fun, if you will, like you have right there.
That's true. That one also, same spot. Now 3-2 to Nolan Smith. For Smith, he has to shorten up, protect, keep his eye on the outside corner, but look for something inside. 3-2. And that one misses outside. So quality at bat for Nolan Smith, works out a walk. And the reigning PGCBL Offensive Player of the Week, Ben Slanker, stands in. .475 average on the scene. Saw an 11-game hitting streak end here on Monday against Batavia. But has been a integral piece plugged in late in the season. Stands in against Roshan. First pitch up and away. 1-0.
You can consistently see Garrett Roshan miss with that fastball high and away. Even same thing with the breaking ball. Might be a little bit of a command issue in terms of flying open just a tad early.
1-0, 1 out, 1 on. That one just off the plate and low. 2-0. You know, the one thing I will say, pitchers on both sides, they have had some problems during games here with the landing spot on the mound. May not be as solid as some like. As that one misses away. 3-0. But I don't think it's the mound on this one. I think it might be mechanical.
It very well could be, Dre, and you see Carl Wagner now out to have a conversation. I know, being a former pitcher myself, these are the kind of conversations that can drive you crazy inadvertently. There's already a guy warming right now in the Elmira bullpen. That's Sam Watts from what we can tell back here. Even if he's just having a catch, as he is right now with Casey Julkowski, that's a bit of the tough part, because when you're a guy like Garrett Roshan, who's got that competitor dog mentality, you're like, nah, I want to be left alone. The game just begun. Let me work through my issues. But in the same breath, too, getting down to crunch time for the Pioneers.
So what do you think Wagner tells him?
I mean, I guess the simple message just has to be, hey, you know, take some deep breaths, get back in the count here. You got your fielders behind you. It's a game where you got 7 fielders behind the pitcher and the catcher.
3-0 misses away. So a 4-pitch walk Back-to-back walks for the Tarp Skunks puts runners at first and second for the ever-dangerous Justin Bremner.
And Garrett Rochon worked with a multiple run lead a couple weeks ago. He came in a relief situation. He's gone back and forth between relieving and starting. This is his 10th appearance of the season, but already his 7th start. But in one of those relief appearances had 5 strikeouts, didn't allow an earned run across the 7th and 8th inning of work, but walked 4 batters in the process. So it's not like it's something we haven't seen before. Garrett has a great fastball and a great mentality on the mound, ultimate dog and competitor for the Pioneers, but running himself into a little bit of walk trouble here in the first.
Could be checking possibly to see if he's physically okay. It was a very long, slow walk to the mound.
Pioneers have also had now 4 off days since their last game that counted towards the Perfect Game Collegiate League standings. Last played Batavia on Friday night at Dunn Field, an 8-3 loss. Then had that scrimmage against the Buffalo Diesel on Saturday. Off on Sunday when Tarp Skunks and Pioneers were set to meet for the doubleheader. And then off on Monday and off last night.
And I think we might be looking at a possible injury situation. I think they're looking for the trainer, and yeah.
And you might have been right from the get-go, Trey. I'm not entirely sure what this is, but something in those last 2 hitters seemed up with Garrett Rochon, and you hope it's nothing too bad to get Garrett out of this ball game because of what, A, he can provide to the Pioneers, and then, B, for just the reason alone that you don't want 8 2/3 innings of work from your bullpen tonight.
Well, for Rochon, it's going to be one of 3 things. It's going to be arm, lower back, or his plant foot, his plant leg. One of those 3 things has to be giving him some issues. So we're going to let them figure things out. We're going to step away, take a break. We'll be back once we get a resolution of the situation. Might get a test pitch or 2 here, but we're going to step away for 30 seconds. We'll be back from Detrick Park.
What's life like in Chautauqua County? It's where small-town charm meets world-class culture, where your downtime gets an upgrade across miles of lakes, state parks, and vibrant local vineyards, where you can live the high life at a low cost as your dollars go further and your roots grow deeper. Whether you're building a business or advancing your career, settling down or saddling up, choose Chautauqua County, where every step you take is toward the life you love. Start your next chapter at livechq.org.
Our generation has a choice. Turn away from the world's problems or chase them down. We refuse to sit back and watch them pass us by. Watch us fly ahead. Rise to every challenge and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Yeah, when we were playing Niagara the other night, Marcus Butts got hit in the nuts on a foul tip. I thought it was a concussion. No. All right, well, Garrett Rochon's night is done due to injury. We're going to have a new pitcher for the Elmira Pioneers. Farrell, go ahead, tell us all about him.
It's going to be Sam Watts, another UMass Dartmouth product coming to the Elmira Pioneers this summer, one of 2 UMass Dartmouth Corsairs to appear for Elmira, going along with Brett Banker. But they share a 3-way connection. Jacob Mona is also a second baseman for the Pioneers, not in the starting lineup tonight. Close friends with Sam Watts, and he brought him along in the middle of the season. And while Watts right now, 6 appearances, all in relief, 7 innings of work. What stands out is his K/9 ratio. He's got 10 strikeouts across 7 innings. He was a top 10 K/9 ratio in the PGCBL at one point, pitching to a batting average of .345, but he's got that kind of strikeout stuff, and the Pioneers could be in desperate need of that, or just the pitcher's best friend right here, Trey, in a ground ball to get them out of the inning, especially since you feel for Garrett Rochon having to come out of the game only a third into his outing, you know how much this means to him, especially being what maybe could be his last start ever as an Elmira Pioneer should the Pioneers not make the playoffs in the next couple days.
Yeah, this is the second time we've had a visiting pitcher not make it out of the first inning due to injury. Cannon Van Duzer from Geneva came out, and I think he made it through the first inning. It was a struggle, but tried to come out for the second inning, couldn't even finish his warm-up tosses. So, forget how many guys he walked and all that. We just hope Garrett Rochon is healthy and it's not something serious that's going to affect him long term. So Justin Brebner stands down. Runners at first and second, one away here. We're in the bottom of the first inning. No score between the Pioneers and the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. Bremner standing in, 3:23.
Is this a situation, despite Bremner's power, where he potentially bunts, scrape across a run early in the first inning?
Doubtful. Frank Jagoda likes his power men and does not like to handcuff them, as time called. I think this season I can remember maybe 3 attempts for a bunt hit. Very rarely will they go for the sacrifice bunt, except late in the game, close games, possibly extra innings or whatever. Early on, it's let it fly. First pitch. Off the outside corner for a strike. 0-1. Bremner, good.
Bremner, a nemesis of the Pioneers this year, had that 2-run shot in the 9th inning that spoiled Elmira's home opener.
He has been a spark plug, to say the least, on this team. Swinging a foul back. Hit a triple in the Tarp Skunks home opener against Batavia. And ever since then, he has swung the bat with impunity. At one point was batting .378. 0.001 points behind Jacob Haynes, who was hitting .379 at that point. There's a ground ball to second. That could be your pitcher's double friend. Second for one, throwing to first. Not in time. And that's where the speed of Bremner comes in, stays out of the double play, and puts runners at the corner with 2 out.
I think the throw might have pulled Cooper Smith off the bag at first. A strong throw from Aiden Grabowski, who received the backhanded flip from Liam O'Neill, but it seemed more like that because the throw seemingly beat the hustling Bremner by just a couple steps, Dre.
So that's going to bring up Nathan Borchardt, the extra hitter. Borchardt excels in these situations. Runners at the corner, 2 outs. This is the number 19 special. First pitch taken for a ball, snap throw over to first, and Bremner's back.
And you've seen the Pioneers do that a couple times over the course of the summer. Carl Wagner and TJ Germestia especially not afraid to backpick, even with runners on right there. A bit of a gutsy move from Wagner, but hey, you'll ask for anything at this point in a tight ball game.
Bremner with a huge lead off first. He goes. The pitch is a high chopper towards second. Gets past Grabowski at short. Coming in to score is Nolan Smith, and it's 1-0. Bremner will hold at third. Nathan Borchardt continues to drive in runs here with an RBI single. And that's going to bring up Brady Marshall.
And that's one of those tough in-between hops right there. Aiden Grabowski has arguably been the Pioneers' most consistent defender across the course of the summer. But right there, even with the nice grass and nice dirt here, rather, at Detrick Park, unable to field that in-betweener Baltimore chop, one of the toughest plays an infielder has to make.
And you can see there's a bit of chew around second base. Ball looks like it might have hit there and gone under his glove. As Marshall swings, hits a ground ball past Grabowski at short. Coming in to score is Bremner. And Brady Marshall with an RBI single, and it's 2-0. And they're taking shots at Grabowski at shortstop, back to back.
And you mentioned Frank Jagoda's offense being so potent. You just look at the 2 through 6 in this lineup. Nolan Smith all the way down to Brady Marshall with the RBI single right there. You got Ben Slanker, a nice addition at 475. Justin Bremner at 323. Borchardt at 314. And Marshall there at 340. Just an overall outstanding offensive lineup that the Tarp Skunks have, Dre.
As Eric Weeks stands in, batting .238, but don't let that average fool you. Second in teams in home runs with 3. Takes the first pitch for a strike, 0-1. Has hit a home run here at Detrick, and 2 on the road, including a grand slam in the 9th inning with 2 outs and his final strike to give the Skunks a 16-12 win over the Ironbacks. That one's foul back and into the owner's booth. Look out in there.
That's the best part about baseball, though, Trey, right? You get a nice souvenir when you go out to the ball game. No matter how big or how small the game is, no matter what level, it's always nostalgic.
It is, except here, when you have a left-handed hitter and he fouls one towards the window, that's more nightmare-inducing. I've had to duck out of the way 3 times this season as Weeks fouls one off into the Elmira bullpen. Come on, you got to dive for that. Tried to make a play, but couldn't.
Yeah, that's Casey Julkowski, who's been doing a good job catching all of his teammates' bullpens so far today. That's been another powerful arm that the Pioneers have had all summer out of Gresham, Oregon, hailing all the way to the East Coast.
Runners off, first and second, 2 out. And that one just misses. 1-2. We're going to keep our eye on the ball games happening around the PGCBL, Batavia, Niagara Falls, Geneva, and Auburn. And Weeks fouls one off to the right again. Look out by the bathrooms. Oof.
And this is what Sam Watts does. He attacks when he's already ahead in counts. He tries to bury you by peppering away on the fastball, and that's exactly what he's doing right here against a formidable hitter in Eric Weeks. Certainly might not boast the same batting average that the 2 through 6 in the Tarp Skunks lineup has, but one thing that's been noticeable to the naked eye is the speed and power that he possesses, manning the left field position tonight for Jamestown, working a pretty good at-bat against a very good strikeout pitcher in Watts.
Quality clutch hitter in Eric Weeks. 1-2, 2 out. 2 on, 2 across already here in the bottom of the first. And there's a chopper foul. Third baseline foul. Auburn with a 2-0 lead over the Geneva Red Wings. That's in the bottom of the second. Batavia, Niagara Falls, no score.
And for Auburn, that's important to get a little bit of get back, if you will. Geneva winning a couple ball games against the Doubledays this season. Doubledays dropped 2 on the road to the Ironbacks this past weekend, so a little bit uncharacteristic to see them do that. But again, funny how baseball works.
There's a high fly ball to left field. Going back on it is Levesque. He makes the catch. And the inning is over, but 2 runs on 2 hits. 2 runners left. We go to the top of the second inning. It's 2-0 Jamestown.
With the score, the Tarp Skunks 2 and the Pioneers nothing. Fans, our concession stand in the concourse is brought to you by JC's Catering. They go
I'm getting a. Oh.
I've definitely got more comfortable like being in front of the camera, and I got to like meet new people. If you are into like cameras and news and stuff, I would come here. You get to do a lot of cool stuff. You go to like one of those baseball games, usually you're just stuck in the stands. But with us, no. You can go on the roof or on the field.
If people want to learn more, you just have to go to CCS-TV.com.
Schultz is the place where you can not only find your next new car, you can customize it exactly how you want it. Build a vehicle from one of your favorite brands. Secure rebates and incentives and expect delivery within 6 to 8 weeks. Get the keys to your ride in-store or in your own driveway and enjoy a year of complimentary Schultz Auto Care. Walk in to view our exciting inventory of vehicles arriving daily or schedule your digital consultation online today.
At Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, we believe in supporting our community and helping you achieve your financial goals and strive to make a positive impact for our members and the community. Our mission is to empower individuals with the skills and resources necessary to achieve financial freedom. As our members and the community achieve their goals, we fulfill ours, creating a brighter future together. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, your partner in financial well-being.
It'll be Smith, Wagner, and Dubeck due up for the Pioneers. And here to tell you about the top of the second inning, it's Farrell Hudson.
Thanks, Greg, and welcome back to Tarp Skunks Baseball on CCS-TV. Top of the second inning, Cooper Smith in the righty batter's box facing Colin Bola for the first time this evening. And he drives one to deep center field on his horse. Going back on it is Bremner. It's over his head and up against the base of the center field wall. Smith motors around first. He'll coast into second with a leadoff double. A wide turnaround second for Smith, but he'll opt to stay put right there. A solid knock for the Eden Prairie, Minnesota native, sporting a .302 batting average in his 4th season as an Elmira Pioneer.
Yeah, he got under that and drove that to the deepest part of the ballpark. That is no picnic to get it out there. One hopping on the warning track up against the wall. That is about 415 feet to the dead center of that batter's eye. And actually goes out 5 more feet to where the Henry James sign meets the batter's eye. That is the deepest part in the ballpark at 420 feet.
So a runner on second base with nobody out for the 5th highest batting average on the Pioneers team, and the catcher Carl Wagner, who takes a breaking ball over the inner third for a called strike 1. Wagner sporting a .302 average on the season. 2 hits in an inning plus for the Elmira Pioneers against the left-hander Colin Bola. Bola sets middle of the rubber. Smith dances off of second. One look at second from Bola, and the fastball just misses off the outer edge.
Now, Bola doesn't find himself with too many opportunities to have to pitch out of the stretch with traffic on the base paths. But when he does, he has been able to manage fairly well.
1-1 to Wagner. Breaking ball in the dirt. Carl takes. Holds up. They check his swing up. Field umpire says Carl went around. So the count, a ball and 2 strikes on Wagner instead of 2-1.
Yeah, and that's one of those plays that you'll hear me harp on. You know, and even though it went Jamestown favor, I mean, still that should be the home plate umpire's call. The field umpire, out of position, is not going to be able to see if he actually broke the plane of the plate. Something I've been harping on all season long, but
1-2 to Wagner. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. A nice back hip slider executed by Bola. Second strikeout of the ball game for swinging. 1 out and a runner on top of the second.
Tarp Skunks Baseball on CCS-TV is brought to you by Schultz Auto Group, a proud sponsor of the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. Visit any of our locations in Jamestown or Warren or online at schultzauto.com.
So it'll be a lefty on righty matchup. 1 out and a runner in scoring position in Cooper Smith, who led off the top of the second with a double. It's the right-handed hitting designated hitter and Brandon Dubeck, who watches a fastball above the letters, 1-0.
Dubeck wearing 55, part of the higher number club here in the PGCBL.
Dubeck in 20 starts, 16 hits, 6 extra base hits, a .487 on-base percentage. 1-0. Fastball inside corner, 1-1.
You can see he is built for power. Has that look of a power third baseman, power corner outfielder.
Certainly was that en route to his selection to play collegiate baseball for the Lafayette Leopards, as he'll await a 1-1 from Colin Bola. Time called. Dubeck in Maplewood, New Jersey at Columbia High School, a .462 batting average across his senior season, 4 homers and 16 RBIs, so certainly can fill the power void, Dre. 1-1 with 1 out. Fastball lined foul, first base side.
Right over to the Surface Club, the picnic area here at Detrick Park, where special events happen. And if you have a special event happening in 2026, JamestownTarpSkunks.com, get in contact with Christian Dulce. He will set you up with packages for the 2026 season.
1-2. Fastball tipped into the glove of the catcher Lindquist for strike 3, 2 down.
Third strikeout for Bola. And the leadoff double doesn't seem to be affecting him too much as he's still attacking the zone.
So it's Liam O'Neill to step in with 2 outs. Pioneers trail 2-0 here in the top of the second inning. First of a 2-game road trip for Elmira. 2 road trips remaining on the season for Elmira, the first of 5 remaining ball games. Bola takes a look at Smith, 20 feet off the second base bag. Roxon fires fastball in the dirt, blocked by the catcher Lindquist. He'll fire down to third, and the throw is too late. Smith scoots in there.
Gets into third on the pass ball, and that's been one of those 50-50 plays. He's almost at the bag. You're almost better off eating it rather than throwing it down the left field line, and Brady McGuire with a good job to keep that from happening.
1-0, breaking ball high and away. One thing about Liam O'Neill, he's only appeared in a select handful of ball games for Elmira this season. A great eye and a really great plate discipline. While the batting average might not be his favorite, he's finding ways to get on base, which can be very integral down the home stretch of the season.
Kind of the Moneyball approach where, it's not more about batting average as opposed to OBP.
And you want to talk about a guy who can fill the power void, Dre. Liam O'Neill, 4 homers and 19 RBIs at the University of Bridgeport across 39 ball games this season as the 3-0. Outside corner heater taken for a called strike 1.
A rare 3-ball count for Colin Bola, only the second time he's gotten to 3 balls.
3-1, 2 O'Neill with 2 outs. Fastball high and away, and there's ball 4. So the first walk of the ball game issued by Colin Bola, as you alluded to, Dre, a bit uncharacteristic of him, but the Pioneers could care less. Runners on the corners with 2 outs.
And now, with 2 bases open, that walk really does not hurt Bola. Actually, it might help. Anything sharp ground ball on the infield, there's easy play at second, as well as the force at first.
First offering from Bola to Cam Levesque is fouled off first base side. 0-1 the count. Levesque this season spending time as an outfielder with the RPI Engineers, who defeated the 3-time champion Ithaca Bombers in the Liberty League Championship game. So a guy with a lot of experience, was an Elmira Pioneer in 2023 on that West Division Championship winning team as well. Watches a fastball inside at the feet. Nice stop by the catcher Lindquist. Count goes to 1-1.
Back-to-back West Division champion Elmira Pioneers, 23 and 24, beating Batavia before going on and dropping to, I believe, Amsterdam?
Amsterdam in the championship in both 2023 and 2024. O'Neill had to dive back to the bag quickly. A nice pickoff move there from the left-hander in Colin Bola.
Bola throwing to Nolan Smith's glove side. If he was able to go to his bare hand side, he might have had a shot, because there was some lean-in by O'Neill.
So a bit of an Andy Pettit-like pickoff move there, while sporting Roger Clemens' number. Colin Bola has been crafty so far this season. There's a reason for that 1.48 ERA. Across 24 and a third innings of work, as you mentioned, Dre. He stays away from the walks often because of things like that. Gets back in the count with a beautiful breaking ball over the inside corner. Count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cam Levesque. 2 outs, top of the second inning. with the Jamestown Tarp Skunks, winners in 17 of 22 home contests on the season. Looking to motor home to victory tonight. 2-2. Bola sets and fires. Levesque chops one on the ground, left side of the infield. Tough play for the shortstop, Marshall, to the backhand side. Long throw across the diamond. Long throw across the diamond. Just in time to nab a hustling Levesque to conclude the top of the second inning. So Elmira threatens, but does not score. No runs and a hit. 2 runners left on base. We'll go to the bottom of the second on CCS-TV.
At Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, we believe in supporting our community and helping you achieve your financial goals and strive to make a positive impact for our members and the community. Our mission is to empower individuals with the skills and resources necessary to achieve financial freedom. As our members and the community achieve their goals, we fulfill ours, creating a brighter future together. Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, your partner in financial well-being.
Looking to feed the family, the whole team, or just your own hungry self? Honest John's has you covered. We're talking fresh-made subs, crispy wings, and pizza so good you might just start happy dancing. Trust Honest John's for takeout, delivery, and easy online ordering so you can get the goods without lifting more than a finger. Or stop in for our famous all-you-can-eat pizza buffet. From crispy wings to cheesy pies, Honest John's satisfies. Order now at honestjohns.pizza.
San Filippo Solutions, your whole home energy contractors. BPI Gold certified, willing to help solve any energy efficiency problems your home has. Visit us at makemecomfytoday.com and we will help you find a San Filippo solution for your home needs. Due up for the Jamestown Tarp Skunks, it's going to be 8, 9, 10. Costello, Nolasco, and Branson Lindquist. 2-0. For the Tarp Skunks over the Elmira Pioneers, as Sam Watts on the mound to start his first full complete inning of work, replaced the starter due to injury, and now gets Costello, Nolasco, and Lindquist. First pitch in the dirt outside, and it's 0-1.
This is a great inning for the Pioneers to build momentum. No, not just because Jamestown scored 2 in the bottom of the first, but you have the top of the lineup due up in the top of the third for Elmira. Hence, so imperative that the Pioneers close in on this ball game because it gets late early and you've already stranded 4 runners on base through 2 innings.
Now, the one thing about the Jamestown Tarp Skunks, as far as their lineup goes, doesn't necessarily follow the traditional formula of speedsters in the 1-2 spot, and then your 3, 4, 5 power guys, and then your utility players underneath. This is built for set the table with the 1 spot. 2 through 7 are your mashers, and then 8 through 10 back to setting the table. Not really a lot of utility players on this roster.
As you alluded to prior to the broadcast, Trey, just so many records broken offensively as ball 4 to Costello. Tarp Skunks that don't need speed when you have power, the old saying.
And, you know, the nice thing is have both speed and power. The outfield itself has been dubbed the no-fly zone, and with the exception of a couple of very hard-hit balls, it's been pretty much a Hoover vacuum cleaner out there. And then on the infield side, Brady McGuire and Brady Marshall leading the team in stolen bases. They've been going back and forth. As Nolasco squares the bunt, pulls back, but takes a strike, 0-1. McGuire with 15 stolen bags at this point. Brady Marshall with 14. 29 stolen bags from your middle infield. That is definitely something that you like to see to complement your power guys, as breaking ball comes in and hits Nolasco. So instead of a sacrifice, Tarp Skunks load up first and second, nobody out. And the dangerous Faulkner native, local town kid, Branston Lindquist.
And thank you for pointing out right there Faulkner, because for the non-locals to the Jamestown area, myself included, especially with a name of Faulkner, I thought it was Falconer for a little bit, so glad
So
glad
did I
we
when I
have it a
first.
little bit.
I mean, I butcher. Do you know how many names I butcher here in New York? Still to this day, I've only been here for 3.5 years.
Have some unique names for sure.
Onoville or Onaville. I call it Onoville every time I drive past.
We're just going to be clear while we're at it, Chautauqua County.
Yes, I hope so. Lindquist stands in. Squared to bunt before Watts looked at second. Does put the bunt down. Throws to third and throws it away. Costello will come in to score on the air. Holding it at third is Nolasco. Moving to second is Branston Lindquist. No RBI, but 2-run score, and it is 1-run scores, and it is 3-0 Jamestown.
Yeah, definitely the right frame of mind there, though, from Sam Watts. He fields the bunt cleanly in front of him. Maybe not the best bunt from Lindquist, but it ends up being a great bunt because it pushes across a run for Jamestown. But right back to Sam Watts, a bit of a frustrating play there as he throws to Manny Castro at third and just offline. That's definitely a play the Pioneers would like to have.
Yeah, and he came really close. I think the one thing that ended up affecting him is just his momentum taking him away from the bag at third, as it looks like we are going to get the Schultz Auto call to the bullpen. We'll be back with the new Elmira pitcher here in just a moment. 3-0 Jamestown with the lead. And this is 24.
What's life like in Chautauqua County? It's where small-town charm meets world-class culture, where your downtime gets an upgrade across miles of lakes, state parks, and vibrant local vineyards, where you can live the high life at a low cost as your dollars go further and your roots grow deeper. Whether you're building a business or advancing your career, settling down or settling up, choose Chautauqua County, where every step you take is toward the life you love. Start your next chapter at livechq.org. What's life like in Chautauqua?
Welcome to the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, located at 15 West 3rd Street in Jamestown. Visitors will see photographs, awards, apparel, and other sports memorabilia. We invite all visitors to stop in the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame and learn about the sports history of Chautauqua County.
Welcome back to Jamestown Tarp Skunks baseball on CCS-TV. The third pitcher of the ball game across an inning plus of work for Andy Drum's Elmira Pioneers. It's the right-hander Bryce Mashanik, the Chemung County native, making his 10th appearance on the season. He's greeted by a line drive, base hit, into right center field off the bat of leadoff man Brady McGuire. Coming in to score is Aiden Nolasco. Coasting into third base is Lindquist. An RBI single, second run of the inning, first hit against Pioneer pitching in the home half of the second, and Jamestown now leads 4-0.
And that's a rude welcome to the ball game for Mashanik. Brady McGuire not wasting any time, jumping on the first pitch he sees. And that's going to bring up Nolan Smith, who walked his first time up. Scored on Nathan Borchart's single. Snap throw over to first, and back easily is McGuire. First and third, nobody out. Tarp Skunks with a 4-0 lead. Looking to add on more here. Runner goes. Pitch taken outside for a ball. Throw down to second. Not nearly in time. And Brady McGuire into second with his 16th stolen bag of the season. Puts 2 in scoring position now. As this game started off like it was going to be a quick-paced game and has slowed down. We're about an hour into this game, and we're only in the bottom of the second. That one is a fastball in the outside corner, 1-1.
You mentioned the speed and power that this Tarp Skunks offense possesses, Dre. They're playing like it, and they're playing with a load of confidence right now in a ball game in which they're striving to reach first place, playing like a first-place squad.
The 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss. 1-2. They're playing like a team that can taste a championship or a Western Division title. Let's not jump too far ahead.
Getting a little ahead.
Well, words matter. They've been chasing it, and there have been times where it didn't seem possible that they could be this close to first place this point of the season, and now battling it out here. 2-2 the count to Nolan Smith. Runners take their lead and the pitch. Low in the dirt, 3-2, so Smith works it full.
Smith had the walk in his first plate appearance.
Ben Slanker on deck. Not a guy the Pioneers want to face with the bases loaded. The 3-2 coming in. Swing and a miss. And good comeback from Ashanik to get Smith on strikes. One away here in the bottom of the second inning. And that's going to bring up Ben Slanker.
The interesting thing about Bryce Mashanik, Dre, is he's so fastball heavy, and sometimes people would ask, well, wouldn't you have a pitch to go off that? But not necessarily if it's getting the job done, and that's what it's been doing all season for Mashanik.
Especially if you have fastballs that move up and down in the zone and left to right. As that is a breaking ball. A little change it up action here. Missing outside for a ball, 1-0.
And I think that is a lost element of the game, Dre, that you just alluded to right there. That's just so imperative in baseball is high, low, in and out. Just establishing your stuff all over the strike zone, especially with the unpredictability of the way you have to adapt to an umpire strike zone throughout the course of the ball game.
As that one catches the knees for a strike, 1-1.
Seems like the Tarp Skunks didn't think so.
Yeah, it was one of those borderline calls that are going to get some of the fans to grumble, but definitely a good call. Rare that I give the umpires props, but that one, you earned it. Breaking ball missing on the outside, 2-1. Since Slanker has been with the Jamestown Tarp Skunks, came in and started mashing the baseball like nobody's business. At one point was hitting over 600. Fallen down to earth to 475, if you want to call it that. 6 doubles. Does have a home run. That one's another one at the knees. 2-2.
Tim Anderson, 2020. Yordan Alvarez, 2022. How about Matt Carpenter's brief tenure with the Yankees? You sometimes see those moments where players get in a certain spot, they're feeling good, and hitting can become contagious.
Oh, absolutely. Casey Schmidt for the Giants, when he first came up, had that tear where he hit 12 home runs in 2.5 weeks and earned himself a spot at the starting job this year. Now, whether he deserves to keep it at this point is a matter of some conjecture on the Bay, on the San Francisco side of the Bay.
Back in the old days, JT Snow.
Oh, yeah. There's tons of great first base heritage. As there's a line drive into left field. That is a base hit. Coming in to score will be Lindquist. Holding at third is McGuire. And an RBI single for Slank the Tank And it is now 5-0.
Well, we know about Frank the Tank Fleming and his Mets fandom. Slank the Tank. I love the different names for these guys. And, yeah, Ben Slanker, we mentioned it. 1220 OPS leading the Jamestown Tarp Skunks right now. Good hitters do things that good hitters do. Like right there on a 2-strike offering, just pokes a fastball to the left side of the diamond into left field. Just a good piece of hitting overall as Jamestown continues the momentum here in the second.
And makes it look effortlessly, too. And can't wait. I don't normally watch a whole lot of college sports, and the reason for that is I have an issue with the NCAA that goes back 30 years. There's a high fly ball, left center field, going back on it is Baker, and this ball is out of here. Justin Bremner with a 3-run home run off the Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union $50 sign in left center field. It is now 8-0.
Oh my goodness, what a power void from Justin Bremner. Already his second homer of the season against the Elmira Pioneers, and no doubt about that one for the Elmira side, Trey. That one hurts.
That's his third home run on the season. Now 8-0 here as Nate Borchardt stands in. Base is clear, and we're on a reset. First pitch taken for a strike. 0-1 for where Bremner hit that off the SCFCU sign is, I'm going to say that one's about 405, maybe 410. He's hit a few here in batting practice, more toward the left field side, but got a hold of that one, and that's got to feel good. His first home run here at Detrick Park. As that one's outside for a ball, 2-1, or 1-2.
And now $50 from Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union to charity, so for an even better cause. And Bremner getting a good piece of that mechanic fastball.
Oh, it gets even better than that, too. CCS-TV donates $10 for every extra base hit here at Detrick Park. With that one, that is extra base hit number 53 here at Detrick Park. $530 in the hopper for the Boys and Girls Club of Jamestown as Borchardt fouls that one off. And it remains 1-2.
No one up now in the Pioneer bullpen, and I would assume it would likely remain that way now, unfortunately, for the Pioneers. Being down 8 runs, you just need to get through some innings.
Ground ball 2 short, picked up by Grabowski, throwing to first. Nice play, 2 away to kill some of the momentum, and that's going to bring up Brady Marshall.
And that's that great east-west movement that Grabowski's displayed all season. Kind of an in-between hop on the third hop of that ground ball there, and Grabowski makes it look effortless from the shortstop position. Makes a nice play for the second out.
So Brady Marshall stands in, swings through on a fastball, trying to check his swing, could not do it, and 0-1.
That was a nasty cut fastball from Bryce Mechanic right there. That's a Bryce special, right in at the letters. Can really put right-handed hitters in a bit of a scare zone.
Coming in and a bit up, 1-1. 5-0 Auburn now over the Geneva Red Wings. The Batavia Muck Dogs with a 2-0 lead over the Niagara Falls Americans, who had one job as that one's fouled out. They have one job tonight. And I think I can speak for pretty much the rest of the PGCBL West Division fan base outside of Batavia that kind of feels like they're pulling for Niagara Falls tonight. A little pop-up behind first base, going out and making the catch is O'Neill. And the inning is over, but an inning it was. 6 runs on 3 hits. Nobody left. We go to the top of the third inning. 8-0 Tarp Skunks.
What's life like in Chautauqua County? It's where small-town charm meets world-class culture, where your downtime gets an upgrade across miles of lakes, state parks, and vibrant local vineyards, where you can live the high life at a low cost as your dollars go further and your roots grow deeper. Whether you're building a business or advancing your career, settling down or settling up, choose Chautauqua County, where every step you take is toward the life you love. Start your next chapter at livechq.org.
Our generation has a choice. Turn away from the world's problems or chase them down. We refuse to sit back and watch them pass us by. Watch us fly ahead. Rise to every challenge and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Let 'em run.
Collaborative Children's Solutions would like to thank EB Builders for their promotional sponsorship of the Jamestown, New York Gus Macker and Labor Day Festival. Call EB Builders now at 716-450-2569 for your quote for roof replacement, repair, siding, and roof rejuvenation with RoofMax. We supply quality work at a very competitive price.
Top of the third inning from Jamestown on CCS-TV. The Tarp Skunks lead the Elmira Pioneers 8-0. It's back to the top of the Elmira batting order, 1-2-3 in the visitors' stanza of the third inning. Aiden Grabowski followed by Ben Rohde and TJ Gurmesti. Shortstop Grabowski, first pitch he sees from Bola is a fastball lined back to the screen foul, count 0-1. Bola sets and fires from the left side of the rubber, fastball off the outside corner, and the count levels.
I like that third stanza. I like that. I might borrow that every now and then.
Every inning's a different chapter, after all, as 1-1 home to Grabowski. Breaking ball, sliced foul. Third base side out of play. Aiden getting a good piece of it at the letters. But the count goes to 1-2.
Well, not to rub it in, but from the Pioneers' perspective, the second inning, second verse, same as the first, a little bit louder and a little bit worse.
1-2, a swing and a miss from Grabowski, getting the inside positioning and firing down to first base. A strike in time for out number one is the catcher Lindquist. Grabowski retired for the second time in the ballgame, already the fourth strikeout across 2 1/3 innings of work for Colin Bola. It's his third swinging. One out and the base is empty for Ben Rohde.
Rohde struck out looking his first time up. And it's interesting, you know, the juxtaposition between the two errors, the Pioneers and the Tarp Skunks, is that the one error for the Pioneers led to the floodgates opening. So that one fouled off, Smith going to make a play, but just out of reach, out of play.
The errors in the walks can certainly be crippling, Drake, goes without being said, and that's exactly what happened for the Pioneers. A bit of a tough start to the bottom of the second. You had the walk, the hit batsman, and the E1, obviously, and Costello, Nolasco, and Lindquist at the bottom of the Tarp Skunks order all came around to score. 0-1 to Rohde with one out. Fastball, a bit of an excuse-me swing, rolled on the ground to first. Going to be a tough play. Feeding the bag just in time to Bola for out number 2 is Smith, who had a bit of a bobble in his glove, nonetheless recovers. Play goes 3-1, 2 outs and the base is empty, top of the third.
Now I got a little worried there as Bola was going to cover the bag. It looked to me like he might have overshot the bag a little bit and had to pull his foot to get to the side so he didn't twist his ankle.
Remember, there were solid 2 or 3 practices a week in my days as a varsity baseball player. You'd have to work PFPs, and that was always the toughest part, holding the bag, especially considering you're running at full speed to cover first, but the flip could be anywhere. Bit of a tough momentum play for sure. Gurmesti takes the first pitch for a ball. Next offering is swatted into deep right center field. A long run for Bremner in the gap, runs back, and it's over his head. Gurmesti motors around first. He's headed for second, deep in the right center field alley. Gurmesti makes the turn, and he'll stop at third with a 2-out triple.
That was a nice piece of hitting for Gurmesti, who got the ball up into the jet stream here at Detrick Park. And with Bremner, he kind of ran to that ball flat instead of back toward the wall. And it carried it just like at the last couple of steps as he was closing in on the ball. That ball just carried again. That wind blowing out to center field. Not usual here at Detrick Park, changing the way the flight of the ball carries here.
Pioneers have gotten at least one hit in each of the first 3 innings of work against Colin Bola. It's Manny Castro in the cleanup spot who takes the breaking ball low for ball 1. Pioneers have the first run of the ball game for them 90 feet away. We'll look to see if Castro, the returner to the Pioneers out of Northern Essex Community College, can make it happen. 1-0 from Bola. Castro hits it on the ground to the left side of the shortstop, and Marshall ranges. Nice play to his forehand side. Strong throw across the diamond in time to retire Castro for the final out of the top of the third. 2.5 through, no runs on a hit, and 1 runner left on base. Jamestown leads 8-0 on CCS-TV.
So did you drive out with the team, or did you drive yourself?
I drove out with the team today.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah, no, the last time was just because I woke up late from a late Saturday night out.
Ah, yes.
And it was a Sunday afternoon, so I had to rush back over.
Yeah. I have not ridden with the team. I like to when I
What's life like in Chautauqua County? It's where small-town charm meets world-class culture, where your downtime gets an upgrade across miles of lakes, state parks, and vibrant local vineyards, where you can live the high life at a low cost as your dollars go further and your roots grow deeper. Whether you're building a business or advancing your career, settling down or settling up, choose Chautauqua County, where every step you take is toward the life you love. Start your next chapter at livechq.org.
Our generation has a choice. Turn away from the world's problems or chase them down. We refuse to sit back and watch them pass us by. Watch us fly ahead. Rise to every challenge and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Graduations, weddings, bridal showers, the Doubletree by Hilton is your destination for all events. Let their experienced team help you put together your special event. Take the worry and stress off your shoulders. Now offering specials for company events and parties, so stop in or call today as Eric Weeks swings and misses at the first pitch he sees. And it's 0-1. It'll be Weeks, Costello, and Nolasco. Due up here for the Skunks, 8-0 here in the bottom of the third inning. Weeks with a line drive in to left field. That is a base hit. Weeks now 1 for 2 on the day. And with nobody out, that's going to bring up the designated hitter, the godfather himself, Dom Costello.
And that was a solid piece of hitting right there. You know you get some good wood on it when you're driving it past the elusive left side of the Pioneer infield in both Manny Castro and Aiden Grabowski.
Weeks has excelled at that type of line drive in that spot all season long. As Costello stands in now. First pitch taken up and away. And it's 0-1. Costello walked on 4 pitches back in the second. You know, one of the things that I've admired about Eric Weeks and Justin Bremner this season is they have the best mean faces when they're hitting of anybody on the team. Apparently they learned that in Canisius, according to Justin Bremer. They teach the mean face. Well, they've got it down, and they've been successful with it.
If only we had the scoreboard to showcase their mean face, kind of like you see at the MLB level, Dre, with the emojis representing their moods. That would only heighten the level feeling of those emoji faces.
Absolutely. That one's outside for a ball. 2-1. You know, there's talking about, scoreboards and things. Every time I come to the ballpark here, it's like, is there anything here that I would want to change? And I think cosmetically, aesthetically, no. As there's a line drive opposite field in to left field. That is a base hit. So back-to-back base hits to start the bottom of the third inning, and that's going to bring up Aiden Alasko.
And sometimes this can be kind of the tricky game, Dre, because you already have seen 3 different pitchers, 3 different arm slots. Yes, all righties in Garrett Rochon, Sam Watson, Bryce Michanek, but it can be a tough thing for even some of the best offenses to pick up. Clearly not an issue for the Tarp Skunks tonight. Already 7 hits in 2+ innings of work against Pioneer pitching.
It's like facing 3 separate starting pitchers in the same ball game. Going to bring something different. And the Skunks have been able to adjust as Nolasco fouls that one down the third baseline. 0-1. This is a team that's built for the playoffs. That's the message that was conveyed to me at the beginning of the season, is that the general manager, the manager of the Tarp Skunks, Frank Chagota, Christian Dulce, essentially their mindset when putting this team together was they were putting together a team that if they can get to the playoffs, they can go deep. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing, especially in this last week or 2 of Tarp Skunks baseball, is, especially going back to their 7-game winning streak, they have, fallen behind, fought back. They have gone ahead. They've had teams come back on them. They've always found a way to keep themselves within ball games.
So important in...
Ooh, snap back to first. And barely back was Costello. That was a close play over there at first.
Carl Wagner sneaky. As we said in the bottom of the first, a nice snap throw there. Smith thought he might have applied the tag down, but had a bit of a wince, like, oh my goodness, thought he tagged him out, but apparently didn't end up doing so.
Yeah. Wagner is kind of gunslinger behind the plate. Is that one down and away, and it's 1-1. Not afraid to pull the trigger, and with that exceptionally quick pop time. So almost got Bremner, almost got Costello, 2 guys that are not easy to pick off the bag. As Nolasco stands in, 2-1 the count. Breaking ball, and Nolasco way out in front of it, falls over.
That was an airbender and a sword all at once. And beautiful pitch from Bryce Michanek there, and so fastball heavy, and then goes with a breaking ball. So foreign. Apparently that was strike 3, and our scoreboard a little bit off had me fooled. So a strikeout for Nolasco. 1 away, and that's going to bring up Branston Lindquist. And the second strikeout of the ball game for Bryce Michanek across an inning and a third. Lindquist takes the first pitch he sees, bounced in the dirt for a ball, 1-0. And a nice stop from Carl Wagner there. It's the little things that matter. Already an 8-0 ball game. You don't want 2 runners to get into scoring position where a potential hit could drive in 2, and you're already looking at a mercy rule deficit only in the bottom of the third. I mean, it's easy to be in this kind of position where you want to take your foot off the gas and just coast when you're down this much, but it just goes to show the competitive spirit of Carl Wagner. Is that one missing outside? 2-0. And I think really, too, that at this point of the season, you have a lot of coaches, not just in this league, but coaches from colleges, scouts around the majors, the minor leagues and everything. They look at, especially teams like you look at Geneva, you look at Newark, you look at Niagara, teams that may be down toward the bottom of the standings, and which are the players that are still playing with that competitive spirit, like they have a shot at first place. Those are the kind of guys that are going to get those deeper opportunities, as opposed to guys that are just going up there to get their work in and coasting. Everybody's watching in baseball. It doesn't matter where you're playing, as Lindquist draws the walk. Load the bases up for the Tarp Skunks. Force full of Skunks for Brady McGuire. And it's always a game just full of opportunity to prove yourself. You go up the next day, even after a brutal, soul-crushing defeat, you can go right back and say, you know what, we'll hop right back on the saddle today and get back to work. And you're right, Dre, especially in a season that this doesn't involve NCAA Division 1 through 3 or junior college. This is about selfishly getting the reps for yourself before you head back to your collegiate seasons.
As there's a foul off to the left side, 0-1. It is, and, you know, I think we've seen not only this season, I saw a bit last season across all the teams that we saw here at Detrick Park. I think you could see, you know, in the last 3 weeks of the season, which guys were out for themselves and which ones were out for the team. As that ball gets past Wagner, coming in to score is Weeks on the wild pitch, and it is now 9-0. Costello and Lindquist advance, so runners at second and third with one out.
Bit of a tough pitch there for Carl Wagner to pick in the dirt, and the reason why it's a tough pitch, though, is because Bryce Mashanik beautifully executes the fastball, and I think that even goes to show more just how formidable this Tarp Skunks offense is, Dre, because Bryce Mashanik has done a fantastic job all season executing on location of pitches where he wants them.
Infield playing in now with a runner at third. That pitch up and into McGuire. And it's 2-1.
It's amazing what a interesting sport, or how ironic baseball is as well, Dre. 9-0 lead, but the hits department, both teams have an error, and only 7 hits for Jamestown to Elmira's 3.
As that one misses low and in, 3-1. Yeah, it was actually interesting the other day against Batavia. The Tarp Skunks, at this point of the game, going into the bottom of the fourth inning, had 7 hits, had scored 0 runs. So, you know, almost the same situation, same spot in the game, 7 hits in the game, this time 9 runs. So that one's fouled back and out of play.
And the Pioneers, only through 3 innings so far tonight, have already stranded 5 runners on.
This game will humble you, and it'll humble you on a nightly basis. You know, it's not like basketball, it's not like football, it's not like hockey where, you know, a team loss is a team loss. Baseball, yeah, it's a team loss, but there are a lot of individual parts that go into that, and guys will take that into the locker room. As there's a high fly ball left center field. That one's deep, and that one is going to one-hop the wall. 2 runs are going to come in to score as Brady McGuire rolls into second with an RBI double, $10 more into the Jamestown Boys and Girls Club Fund, $540 on the season, and it's now 11-0 Jamestown.
And 3 runs and 3 hits for the Tarp Skunks here in the bottom of the third, and that approach deep in the left center field gap, only just shy of where Justin Bremner hit his 3-run shot in the bottom of the second. And yeah, I want to go back to the point that you made, Dre, especially in a ball game as humbling as baseball. You have a guy up right now in Nolan Smith who's 0 for 1. Say he finishes his evening 0 for 3 or 0 for 4. That's a bad evening for him personally, but it's a great evening for the team as you got Jamestown ahead 11-0. Aaron Judge mentioned that one time. He's like, it's only good if the team wins. I don't care if I go for 4 for 4 and Yankees find a way to lose. So you're right. It's just so many unique intricacies within the game of baseball, Dre, on a personal level.
And there are guys that, you know, they'll be on the winning side of a ball game that'll go 0 for 4. Say someone gets the golden sombrero. They will ride themselves hard in the dugout and not be able to enjoy that win because they failed at the plate, you know, in certain situations. So I think this is definitely one of the more psychologically damaging games that you can play. Football, basketball is pretty straightforward. Hockey even, I mean, it's more of, you know, you want to fight and play sports at the same time. It's kind of like, you know, let's do MMA and on ice skates, right?
Even Rod Carew and Tony Gwynn still failed 65% of the time. That just goes to show what a failing sport it is. I feel like the other thing, too, is baseball is such a slow and conversational sport where sometimes you let it stew because you're at the ballpark for hours, whereas at least basketball and hockey, 2 very fast-paced games, there's no time to even think.
As that one jam shot foul, 3-2 now to Nolan Smith. You know, that brings up a great point because Nathan Borchardt studying sports psychology, and he and I have talked about this a little bit. And, you know, it's having the ability to, when the day is over, wash all of that off in the shower. You get in the shower, you wash off the game, you wash off your performance, whether you went 0 for 4 or 4 for 4. You have to come back feeling fresh and clean the next day, ready to go. As that one fouled right to where you would have been.
Right up near the visitors' announcing box. That got some good wood. You could even see some dust fly and even a couple wood chips fly down, Dre. You got to be alert, like you said, here in baseball. Balls, bats, anything that could be in the field of play could also be in the broadcast booth.
Absolutely. Next season, I think I'm going to be bringing a glove up here and wearing that during left-handed at-bats. As that one misses low.
For extra safety, you have to bring one of those old Little League baseball helmets, like the Rawlings ones had with the guard.
The cage, yeah.
Yeah, the cage over the helmet, the good old, like, softball or, like, 10-year-old baseball helmet.
See, I'm a Generation X guy. I grew up, don't need a cage. Ground ball to second. Nice glove on the backhand by O'Neill. Throw on to first. And there are 2 away as McGuire advances to third.
And Liam O'Neill's so beautiful in the field. I mean, really nice play right there. And that just seems like, hey, a simple ground ball for the second out. But his ability to prance and shuffle and just locate himself in a perfect position to come up with that backhand, he can really move as quickly as he possibly can. And we're going to get a pitching change, Trey. So already the 3rd pitching change of the ballgame, 4th pitcher coming in. It's going to be Bobby Boyne.
All right, we're going to take the Schultz Auto call to the bullpen. New pitcher for the Elmira Pioneers. When we come back, Jamestown with the 11-0 lead.
Welcome to the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, located at 15 West 3rd Street in Jamestown. Visitors will see photographs, awards, apparel, and other sports memorabilia. We invite all visitors to stop in the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame and learn about the sports history of Chautauqua County.
New pitcher for the Elmira Pioneers. I'll let Fallon tell you all about him.
It is the right-hander Bobby Boyne out of Barry University, the innings leader for the Elmira Pioneers in 2025. Bobby Boyne keeping the Pioneers relevant in so many ball games on the season, so don't let the 2-4 record fool you. 42 2/3 innings of work. He's given up 45 hits in the process, 24 strikeouts, and he's only limited the damage to 12 extra base hits. He's making his 4th appearance in relief on the season, and he comes into a 2-out situation, bottom of the 3rd, 11-0 lead for Jamestown.
As Ben Slanker stands in, 1 for 1 on the day with a walk and an RBI, facing Bobby Boyne. And the first pitch finds the zone for a strike, 0-1. Boyne has probably the best name in the PGCBL West Division as far as ball player names, definitely up there. The 0-1 missing inside 101.
Yeah, Bobby Boeing for sure. It almost sounds like Boeing. It's like, Bobby, take us to space.
As that one misses in the dirt now, 2-1. 3 runs already across here for the Tarp Skunks in the bottom of the third inning. Brady McGuire off third, 2 outs. And the Tarp Skunks have been in control since the opening frame. 2-1. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
Sometimes you have to go to a hitter's strong spot, and you go upstairs on Ben Slanker, a high fastball to a strong left-handed hitter. And Boeing just saying, hey, I'm just going to simply beat you to the spot, and he does right there, 2-2 count.
Especially when the hitter's looking low in the zone, too. So there's a ground ball to second. Glove by Grabowski, throws on to first, and Smith able to keep his foot on the bag to retire the side, but 3 more runs come across. We head to the top of the 4th inning. It's 11-0 Jamestown.
Welcome to the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, located at 15 West 3rd Street in Jamestown. Visitors will see photographs, awards, apparel, and other sports memorabilia. We invite all visitors to stop in the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame and learn about the sports history of Chautauqua County.
It'll be Baker, Smith, and Wagner due up for the Pioneers. And here to tell you all about it in the top of the 4th inning, it's Farrell Hudson.
Thank you, Trey, and welcome back, everybody, to Jamestown Tarp Skunks Baseball on CCS-TV with Jamestown ahead of Elmira 11-0 in the top of the 4th inning. As Trey alluded to, it's Brett Baker, lefty-on-lefty matchup with Colin Bola. Had a fastball inside that almost clipped his jersey in the second, offering a breaking ball, taken even further inside by Baker. Count goes to 2-0. First plate appearance on the day for Baker, a fly ball to mid-range and left to Eric Weeks. 2-0, fastball dribbled on the high hop. It's the second baseman Nolasco over to first in time, 1 down in the top of the 4th inning.
In the bottom of the 5th inning, Auburn holding on to a 7-0 lead over the Geneva Red Wings. In the bottom of the 4th inning, the Niagara Falls Americans have tied it up with the Batavia Muck Dogs, 2-2. That one in the bottom of the 4th inning. We'll be scoreboard watching that game all night long.
It's Cooper Smith up to the plate with 1 out and the base is empty. He dribbles the breaking ball foul. Cooper, in his first trip to the plate this evening, rocketed a double to deep center field, the deepest part of the ballpark, 410 feet. It bounced up against the base of the center field wall on the batter's eye. Was a leadoff double. Then in the top of the 2nd inning, Cooper Smith and Liam O'Neill were stranded as part of 2 of 5 base runners stranded on the evening for Elmira so far. Next offering to Smith is fouled off. 0-2, Bola in the driver's seat.
And we want to welcome all the viewers from the Elmira Pioneers tuning in here tonight, as well as with the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. Farrell Hudson, Dre Guinness, joint broadcast. And doing something a little bit different here tonight.
Smith watches 2 consecutive pitches out of the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count with 1 out. And yeah, Dre, it's been a great evening so far. Not for the Pioneers, not on the side of the scoreboard. I'm going to be a little biased with that for sure. Hasn't been good on the Pioneers side, but yes, good having a great joint broadcast so far this evening. 2-2 from Bola to Smith with 1 out. Breaking ball catches the outside corner for a called strike 3. Cooper down via the backwards K. 2 outs in the top of the 4th.
5th strikeout for Colin Bola. And he is pretty much right on target now. Frank Jagoda is going to come out and take the baseball from Bola, as we are going to get a surprise call to the bullpen. I thought Bola was going to go a lot longer than this, but with the 11-0 lead and a playoff spot on the horizon, maybe not the worst idea. So we're going to take the Schultz Auto call to the bullpen. Daniel Thomas coming out to the mound for the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. We'll be back. 11-0 is your score from Detrick Park.
What's life like in Chautauqua?
Welcome to the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, located at 15 West 3rd Street in Jamestown. Visitors will see photographs, awards, apparel, and other sports memorabilia. We invite all visitors to stop in the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame and learn about the sports history of Chautauqua County.
Tarp Skunks baseball, top of the 4th inning with 2 outs. Frank Jagoda takes the ball from his southpaw starter in Colin Bola, who was phenomenal last 3 2/3 innings of work. Only 3 hits surrendered, no runs, no earned, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. New pitcher in the ballgame is Daniel Thomas, who delivers from the right side of the rubber. A fastball catches the outside corner at the letters to Carl Wagner for a called strike 1.
Yeah, Daniel Thomas has been amazing coming out of the bullpen for the Tarp Skunks. 2-0 record, 3.22 ERA, 22 1/3 innings pitched. He's given up 20 hits, 11 runs, only 8 of those earned, have walked 11, struck out 13. Hitters only hitting .230 against him. So he has been a revelation out of the bullpen for the Skunks, looking to hold it down for Colin Bola.
1-1 to Wagner with 2 outs. Generous outside corner for a called strike 2. So it'll be a 1-2 to Wagner with 2 outs and the base is empty. Top of the 4th. Tarp Skunks lead 11-0. Fastball inside almost clipped the shins of Wagner. Count levels at 2-2.
Daniel Thomas, definitely going to be one of those guys that are going to be first out of the pen.
Line drive on 1 hop. It eats the second baseman. Nolasco up. He recovers nicely. Throws to first in time to complete a 1-2-3 top of the 4th inning between Bola and Thomas. They face the minimum. No runs, no hits, no runners left on base. 3.5 through. Jamestown ahead 11-0 on CCS-TV.
What's life like in Chautauqua County? It's where small-town charm meets world-class culture, where your downtime gets an upgrade across miles of lakes, state parks, and vibrant local vineyards, where you can live the high life at a low cost as your dollars go further and your roots grow deeper. Whether you're building a business or advancing your career, settling down or settling up, choose Chautauqua County, where every step you take is toward the life you love. Start your next chapter at livechq.org.
Doubletree by Hilton at 150 West 4th Street. Go try their new food and drink menu offerings. Nothing pairs better than a steak and frites with a smoked cinnamon cocktail. Come check out their Music Monday series on the 4th Street patio or Karaoke Thursdays. Pearl City Hops, where good times are always on tap. As we're getting a bit of a delay waiting for Wagner to finish putting his catcher's gear on. As we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, it'll be Bremner, Borchardt, and Marshall. 4-5-6 due up for Jamestown with the 11-0 lead.
Yeah, certainly not the night that the Pioneers envisioned, Dre. They come in with good spirits and opportunity to get back after a 1-2 start versus the Tarp Skunks on the season, especially considering you have a schedule that one could argue is relatively favorable the rest of the weekend leading into potentially the PGCBL playoffs should the Pioneers be fortunate enough to make it. You go up against a Newark team tomorrow in which you sport the second best head-to-head record against of any team you've played on the season in the PGCBL. You get Niagara Falls at home on Friday night. You're 1-0 versus them at Dunfield, and then you go to Batavia. That's been a bit of a tougher go-round, but then you finish with Geneva on Sunday, a team in which you've gone 7-1 across 8 ball games against in 2025. So this was really the big game to win, especially considering should Batavia have first place locked down on Saturday night, potentially resting guys could be, if you will, a bit of an easier opportunity for the Pioneers, but obviously very tough to tread water and make up ground should the Pioneers lose this ball game, which at this point looks very likely like that possibility is going to occur.
And you have to wonder how much effect is the scrub doubleheader from Sunday really going to affect it. I mean, you can't say that either team would have won both games or split or, predict how that series was going to end. But I think in the grand scheme of things, I think it's more important for Elmira than Jamestown. But, I mean, it definitely does have an effect on Jamestown because that's 2 games that we didn't get a chance to play that kind of dictates our fate toward the end of the season in a different way. So Bremner fouls that one off. And it's 1-1 for Bremner. Reached on a fielder's choice back in the first and then hit a 3-run bomb off the SCFCU donate $50 to charity sign. So 1 for 2 on the day with a home run, 3 RBIs, and there's a ground ball to third picked by Castro. Throw on to first, and a good job by Smith to get back to the bag to complete the 6-3 putout.
Yeah, great wherewithal indeed, Dre, right there. It almost seems as if Smith knew that he was off the bag the first time and then quickly recovers and gets back. A heat-of-the-moment kind of play that you have to inquisitively have the knack to make, which Smith does right there. A nice play by the Pios first baseman for the first out.
As Nate Borchardt stands in, 1 for 2 on the day with an RBI, singled in the first, grounded out to third back in the second inning. As that one taken at the knees for a strike, and it's 0-1.
Those knee-high fastballs that get spotted, Dre, a lot of umpires prone to calling it strikes, and Carl Wagner with some really solid frame jobs behind the plate.
As a swing and a miss, 0-2. And one thing I noticed about Wagner, and I've seen this a lot too when I'm watching like Trend Athletics on YouTube and things of that nature, where he will, before the pitch comes in, as that one misses in, drop his glove to the plate so that he's catching up. So anything low at the knees, it's almost like he's already framed it there rather than having to make that last-minute adjustment. He's going to get more fastballs called at the knees like that, as there's a breaking ball at the knees that gets Borchardt looking.
Beautiful backdoor breaking ball there from Bobby Boying. Absolutely freezes Borchardt with 2 strikes.
And quickly 2 down for the Tarp Skunks shortstop, Brady Marshall. Singled home run back in the first inning. Popped out to O'Neill behind the first base bag. His second at bat. First pitch comes in low for a ball, 1-0. For the Tarp Skunks, off tomorrow, and then the final regular season game on Friday as the Niagara Ironbacks come in. It is Christmas in July, presented by Collaborative Children's Solutions and Culture Care Senior Living. Fireworks after the game. There will be a lot of festivities. You are not going to want to miss the final regular season game. And then on the road in Canada on Saturday against the Ironbacks. And then on Sunday at Batavia to close out the 2025 regular season, as Marshall now falls behind 1-2.
And what a game that could come down to, Trey, huh? First place rights on the line in Batavia. I think the only acceptable answer for Christmas in July would be for the Tarp Skunks now to lock down first place.
Santa, if you're listening, Farrell Hudson has endorsed an early Christmas gift. And
I don't know if I can say endorsed.
I've been extra good this year. You know, I ate my beans and I took care of the cat boxes without being asked. You know,
suffice to say the Tarp Skunks with the winning streak, not on Santa's naughty list.
As a little pop up to first, Smith gloves it, puts it away. First 1, 2, 3 innings for the Tarp Skunks. We go to the top of the 5th inning. It's 11-0 Jamestown.
What's life like in Chautauqua County? It's where small-town charm meets world-class culture, where your downtime gets an upgrade across miles of lakes, state parks, and vibrant local vineyards, where you can live the high life at a low cost as your dollars go further and your roots grow deeper. Whether you're building a business or advancing your career, settling down or settling up, choose Chautauqua County, where every step you take is toward the life you love. Start your next chapter at livechq.org.
Our generation has a choice. Turn away from the world's problems or chase them down. We refuse to sit back and watch them pass us by. Watch us fly ahead. Rise to every challenge and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Yeah, he's new. I don't know anything about him. No, I'll just do the changes. Some defensive changes here in the top of the 5th inning for the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. Now playing at second base is newcomer Harley Hogue. Aiden Nolasco moves over to shortstop. Nico Frizzell moves to left field. Eric Weeks slides over to third. So Brady McGuire and Brady Marshall's day are done early, as it's going to be Dubek O'Neill and Levesque. And here's Farrell Hudson.
Thanks, Trey. As Brandon Dubek slaps one right back up the middle into center field for a base hit. So the Pioneers' designated hitter is aboard in the top of the 5th inning. 4th hit of the ball game for Elmira against Tarp Skunks pitching. One on with nobody out.
Not wasting any time, as known Thompson is going to come in with a fastball on the first pitch. So
it'll be a righty-on-righty matchup. Daniel Thomas against Liam O'Neill. Fastball right down Broadway. O'Neill takes for a called strike 1. No runs on 4 hits and 1 error for Elmira. 11 runs on 8 hits and 1 error for Jamestown. Thomas working for the right side of the rubber. Short lead for Dubek off of first, and the fastball catches the outside corner for a called strike 2 on O'Neill.
That one might have been a little generous, as that one looked like it was a little off the plate on the outside corner.
Thomas sets 0-2, and he drills O'Neill in the wallet.
Not what you want to do when you're ahead 0-2. Put free runners on the bag.
But the Pioneers will take it. Runners on first and second with nobody out. For Cam Levesque, go for one of the ball game, a grounder to the shortstop Marshall, his first trip to the plate in the top of the second. Thomas stares in, gets his sign, comes set, fires first pitch to Levesque, a called strike 1.
Well, Thomas staying on target, for that first pitch fastball attack in the zone. That's one thing I've noticed and I've liked about Thomas this year, and I generally tend to like pitchers out of the bullpen that will attack the zone rather than try to paint corners and get fancy, as that one just missed.
So it's a 1-1 to Levesque with nobody out. Top of the Pioneers batting order awaits on deck in Aiden Grabowski. 1-1, fastball outside corner taken for a called strike 2.
Niagara Falls have taken a 5-2 lead over the Batavia Muck Dogs now in the top of the 6th inning.
In Auburn, 19-0 ahead of Geneva. Are you sure we're not talking about the War Eagle?
Wow. I mean,
it's a little early for football season, Dre.
I have friends that are down in Alabama that would salivate over seeing the War Eagle with a 19-0 lead in any game. UAB, which actually caught me by surprise because I didn't know UAB existed. I thought it was just University of Alabama and Roll Tide, and everybody else stayed at home.
Certainly seemed that way with the dominance in which they achieved under the regime of Nick Saban for many years, as breaking ball outside to Levesque in the count levels at 2 balls and 2 strikes. First 2 Pioneers batters to come to the plate in the top of the fifth, reached base successfully. So both Auburn and Jamestown out to comfortable leads against their respective opponents this evening. Certainly not the evening you would have imagined, especially more so in a ball game like this, Dre. Pioneers going for that last playoff spot, and every game so far this year between Elmira and Jamestown has been very competitive. Payoff pitch, a high fly ball to deep left field. Going back on his horses, Frizzell way back to the warning track. It's over his head and bounces against the base of the left field wall. Dubek gets the wave around third. He'll come to the plate and score on an RBI double for Cam Levesque. And the Pios now make it 11-1.
And Levesque didn't miss that by much, as it had a lot of high arc, bounced off the warning track, but gave that one a ride that, had time. It just had a little too much topspin, died, but allowing the first run to come around for the Pioneers.
So 2 in scoring position with nobody out. Top of the 5th inning, Elmira scraping across their first run of the ball game. First inning with at least 2 hits for Elmira. It's Grabowski in against Thomas, righty-on-righty matchup. First pitch fouled off by Aiden, count 0-1.
And that's a good follow-up to the first time that the Pioneers went 1-2-3 back in the 4th inning, coming out and swinging the bats aggressively here in the 5th.
On the season for Aiden Grabowski, 21 RBIs. He trails the team leader in TJ Gramesti by 1. An opportunity to overtake him here as he fouls off the next pitch. Third base side out of play. Count 0-2. As Thomas has allowed the bottom of the Pioneers order to each reach base successfully. Dubek a single to lead off the top of the 5th. An RBI double from Cam Levesque after Liam O'Neill got plunked. This one rolled on the ground, just foul. Wide of third, Weeks on the backhand side and foul ground. We'll toss it over the Tarp Skunks dugout. And the count remains 0 balls and 2 strikes on Grabowski.
Good protection swing by Grabowski, shorten up. That's what you got to do down 0-2. Anything close, it doesn't matter if you hit it foul 50 feet, 10 feet, 100 feet. Stay alive, get that opportunity for the next pitch.
And he does exactly that here, and he rolls one on the ground, back up the middle, into center field for a base hit. O'Neill scores. Right behind him is Levesque. He comes to the plate, throw offline. Cam Levesque scores on a 2 RBI single for Aiden Grabowski, and the Pios now make it 11-3 Jamestown.
And Elmira's offense showing a bit of sign of life against a pitcher who doesn't normally fall into this type of trap, I guess, would be the best way to describe it. Normally comes out, bang, 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 strikeouts, ground balls out of the inning. And this time, Elmira able to find gaps, drive baseballs, and bring runners home. So 11-3.
So a great 2-strike approach from Aiden Grabowski gets rewarded with a 2-run single. RBIs number 22 and 23 on the season for Aiden. It's now an 8-run ball game, top of the 5th, in favor of Jamestown. The mercy rule deficit, at least permanently, has been eliminated. There's a ground ball into right field for a base hit for Ben Rohde. He's now 1 for 3 in the ball game, following 2 unsuccessful trips in his opening plate appearances tonight. A strikeout looking at a ground ball. Already the 4th hit of the inning for Elmira against the right-hander Daniel Thomas. And Brandon Lindquist out to the mound for a brief chat with his right-handed reliever.
Yeah, and there is action in the Jamestown bullpen. This is definitely not a normal Daniel Thomas type appearance. And I guess the scouting report has gotten around, does come, attacks the zone, pitches to contact, and the Elmira Pioneers, on 4 of the last 5 hitters that have faced him, have been able to oblige. The only mark against that is Liam O'Neill getting hit by a pitch, but he came around to score. Now the Tarp Skunks, who were cruising here comfortably, find themselves in a bit of a situation.
Was at Wendy's earlier, didn't get the 4 for 4, but the Pioneers have a chance for a 3 for 3 here. The best hitter at the plate for Elmira up in TJ Gurmesti. Elite speed on the bases, and Aiden Grabowski off of second, and Ben Rohde off of first. And momentum building, still nobody out, top of the 5th. 3 runs home for the Pioneers on 4 hits as Gurmesti watches the fastball low. Thomas still in the ball game. Righty on righty matchup, 1-0 delivery. Grabowski takes off for third. Fastball strike. Throw down to third from Lindquist. Skips into left field. Grabowski's going to come to the plate. He'll score. So another run for Elmira. Rohde now advances into scoring position, and it's 11-4.
And that's going to be E2 error on Branston Lindquist. And again, when I talked about that earlier, there are those decisions where you're better off eating it rather than throwing the ball down the left field line. That was one of those where Grabowski was closer to the bag than I think Lindquist had a chance to get him.
And for Aiden Grabowski, that's a team-leading 18th stolen base on the season, as the fastball outside to the guy with the second most stolen bases in TJ Gurmesti. It's funny, Dre, we were joking beforehand, at least in Elmira, every offensive category for the Pioneers should have its own category that does not involve TJ Gurmesti and or Aiden Grabowski, because those two seemingly lead the Pioneers in every offensive category possible, whether it's on-base slugging, stolen bases, extra base hits. Those have been the dynamic duo this summer. The more impressive part, too, Dre, is you're looking at one guy who just finished his collegiate senior year at Tiffin University, the other a freshman at Florida Atlantic, as Gurmesti at odds with the home plate umpire over the fastball. That was on the outer edge for a called strike, too. Plate seemingly expanding a bit.
Yeah, the ever-floating strike zone. Saw that against Batavia the other night. That one is, yep. Oh, that one hit the car parked on Faulkner Street. Hopefully not the windshield. It was a black, I don't know, SUV or something out there. That might have clipped the hood.
Full count pitch to Gurmesti, a high fly ball to deep right field. Going back on his horse's slinker. That 20 feet in front of the warning track makes the catch for out number one. Tagging and motoring into third base with ease is Ben Rohde, so a productive out for Gurmesti. Still a 7-run ball game. Jamestown with a little bit of clearance now. 1 out in the top of the 5th for the right-handed hitting third baseman Manny Castro.
Castro on the day, 1 for 2, singled back in the first, grounded out to short in the third. And Farrell, this is the first inning And we're in the 5th now, where more than 5 batters have come to the plate for Elmira, and they are starting to turn up the heat a little bit and get some runs coming in.
The old saying of runs are scored in bunches like bananas. That's what it sometimes feels like. With any baseball team building momentum, that's what the Pioneers are beautifully executing here in the visitors' half of the 5th inning as Castro takes an outside corner strike. And the 1-1 just off the plate there, 2-1. Tarp Skunks wanted it.
Yeah, that was a dot right in the glove. And again, that's that floating strike zone that you see as the game goes on here.
2-1 with 1 out. A swing and a miss out ahead of the changeup was Castro. Cut through it, 2-2.
Yeah, Castro sitting dead red fastball, liked the location, just didn't read it well out of Thomas's hands. A little too quick on the trigger.
2-2 from Thomas with 1 out. A high fly ball to deep right again. Going back is Slinker. Just in front of the warning track, makes the catch. Rhodey will come to the plate. He'll easily score a sac fly and an RBI for Manny Castro. And the Pios with a 5-run top of the 5th now close it to a 6-run deficit, 11-5 Jamestown. So 5 runs on 4 hits across 2/3 of an inning of work for Daniel Thomas here in the visitors' half of the 5th. He'll be greeted with 2 outs and the bases empty by the left-handed swinging Brett Baker, 0 for 2 in his first 2 trips to the plate today. A fly ball to left and a ground ball to second.
And Thomas struggling a bit. I would be surprised if he comes out for another inning, and not because, he's given up a few runs on a couple of hard-hit balls. His pitch count, keeping his arm fresh for the last couple of games of the season, very important. Definitely need I think a change of momentum, change of angle.
Baker lines the 1-1 foul, third base side out of play, count 1-2.
This has definitely been one of Thomas's longest innings of the season.
So it'll be a 1-2 to Baker with 2 outs. Righty Thomas comes set and fires just off the outside corner. Might have been a changeup there as it pulled Lindquist across the plate, originally setting up over the inner third. Maybe a bit of a fool there to the home plate umpire just because of Lindquist naturally reaching across the plate. They'll do it again, 2-2. This time a swing and a miss by Baker, and the side's finally retired. Not before 5 runs on 4 hits, an error, no runner stranded on base. Halfway through, Jamestown 11, Elmira 5 on CCS-TV.
I've definitely got more comfortable being in front of the camera, and I got to meet new people. If you are into cameras and news and stuff, I would come here. You get to do a lot of cool stuff. You go to one of those baseball games, usually you're just stuck in the stands. But with us, no. You can go on the roof or on the field.
If people want to learn more, you just have to go to CCS-TV.com.
Schultz is the place where you can not only find your next new car, you can customize it exactly how you want it. Build a vehicle from one of your favorite brands. Secure rebates and incentives and expect delivery within 6 to 8 weeks. Get the keys to your ride in-store or in your own driveway and enjoy a year of complimentary Schultz Auto Care. Walk in to view our exciting inventory of vehicles arriving daily, or schedule your digital consultation online today to discover why we say you can't beat a Schultz deal.
CCS-TV is your home for local student voices, community highlights, and live sports coverage. Watch us on Roku, YouTube, your mobile device, or at CCS-TV.com. And don't miss out on exclusive content. Follow at CCS Television on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. CCS is the exclusive home for Tarp Skunks baseball, as it will be Eric Weeks And Dom Costello and Aiden Alasko. Interested to know where Frizzell and Hogue are going to fit into the lineups.
Likely Hogue in place of Aiden Alasko, seemingly a one-for-one swap here in the top of the 5th inning made by Frank Jagodas. You have Nico Frizzell now in left in place of Weeks, so not entirely sure the exact alignment, Dry.
So Eric Weeks stands in. The first pitch that he sees is a strike, 0-1. Weeks, 1-for-1 on the day, has walked, singled, and scored twice. Oh, let me correct that. I'm down a slot. He lined out to left field in the first and singled, scored in the third, 1-for-2.
Potentially home plate umpire got a little shaken up there on a foul ball. I think it took a double doink off the catcher Wagner and then the plate umpire.
Those are never fun.
Most certainly not.
I played catcher one season and swore never again. And I just did not enjoy foul tips that you had no idea where they were going to land or how bad it was going to hurt. As that one's fouled back. 0-2. In Niagara Falls, the Americans now with a 6-2 lead over the Batavia Muck Dogs. They have runners at second and third with 2 outs. Is that one outside? 2-2. I know it doesn't help Elmira out much if Niagara Falls wins, but it definitely helps the Tarp Skunks. And 'tis the season for scoreboard watching. As there's a fly ball into left field, but right at Levesque, who gloves it and puts it away for out number 1.
Solid piece nonetheless from Eric Weeks. You could see him get that full torque swing where you see the launch angle really strong. That's just a funny thing about baseball, like we've said throughout the course of the night. Can hit a ball 350 feet on the screws like that, only for it to be caught at the warning track. Nice run and grab from Levesque nonetheless.
So that's going to bring up Dom Costello, 1-for-1 with the walk, the single, 2 runs scored. First pitch taken up and away for a ball, 1-0. Boeing still on the mound for the Doubledays. There is action in the, or did I say Doubledays? I did. I have Auburn on the brain again with that 19-0 lead over Geneva right now. Elmira has action in the bullpen.
Auburn, a potential first-round opponent for the Tarp Skunks, though, so not too unfair in thinking about them.
This is true, and with Auburn and Niagara Falls kind of nipping at each other's heels, is that one off the glove on the check swing, the appeal no swing. It's 3-0. You know, it's hard to really determine who's going to fit in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And you know, Niagara Falls is still not. They still have a shot at getting the 2 seed if they win out.
That's the beauty of head-to-head record in the conference. As Boeing issues ball 4, comes right down to the wire.
Third time on base for Dom Costello today, as Aiden Alasko, who moved from second to short, stands in. He's been hit by a pitch, scored back in the second, struck out in the third inning. As Costello takes the lead, 11-5, Jamestown with the lead. We are in the bottom of the 5th inning here at Detrick Park. Breaking ball finds the zone right over the plate for a strike, 0-1. I think Nico Frizzell will take over Brady McGuire's spot. Oh, where's Hartley Hogue fit into it? So,
and you know what Bobby Boeing reminds me of, Dre?
What's
Almost
that?
Like Bronson Arroyo, if you will. Kind of that rubber arm, clutch, can serve kind of in any situation, and has beautiful off-speed, good changeup, repeatable mechanics, good delivery. I'm speaking about a team hated by a lot of Yankee fans in the 04 Red Sox.
That one taken for a strike. Second strikeout for Aiden Alasko, this time looking. Well, I mean, it sounds to me like you're a Yankees fan.
Yes, it would indicate that.
Okay.
But
So-
no, if we're talking, though, good pitchers,
Oh,
got to give credit to the ones that need credit due.
Absolutely, and I'm not a Yankees fan by any stretch of the imagination, as Branston Lindquist stands in. Chops the ball to second. Easy play for O'Neill. Flips over to first, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits. One runner left. We go to the top of the sixth inning. Jamestown 11, Elmira 5.
What's life like in Chautauqua County? It's where small-town charm meets world-class culture, where your downtime gets an upgrade across miles of lakes, state parks, and vibrant local vineyards, where you can live the high life at a low cost as your dollars go further and your roots grow deeper. Whether you're building a business or advancing your career, settling down or settling up, choose Chautauqua County, where every step you take is toward the life you love. Start your next chapter at livechq.org.
Our generation has a choice. Turn away from the world's problems or chase them down. We refuse to sit back and watch them pass us by. Watch us fly ahead. Rise to every challenge and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
What's life like in Chautauqua County? It's where small-town charm meets...
Oh, okay.
What's life like in Chautauqua County? What's life like...
There's not a lot of opportunities either. Tonight's coverage, there we go. Tonight's coverage comes to you live from the Wegmans broadcast booth, where fresh calls meet fresh ingredients. Whether you're in the mood for a hot meal, a fresh salad, or a quick snack for the game, Wegmans has you covered, helping you live better, eat better, and cheer harder. That's the Wegmans way. As we go to the top of the sixth inning, new pitcher for the Jamestown Tarp Skunks is Sam Rickman. No record with an 8.25 ERA, 12 innings pitched, 13 hits, 13 runs, 11 earned, 10 walks, 10 strikeouts. And due up for Elmira is going to be Smith, Wagner, and Dubeck. And Farrell Hudson here to tell you all about it.
Thank you, Dre, and once again, welcome back to CCS-TV. The Jamestown Tarp Skunks ahead of the Elmira Pioneers, 11-5. Third pitcher in the ball game for Frank Jagoda's Skunks. It's Sam Rickman, right-hander, in against Smith, who fires a fastball above Cooper's letters, 1-0. Cooper in the ball game 1 for 2, a double in the top of the second, and a backwards K in the top of the fourth. 1-0. Check swing from Smith. No swing, 2-0.
Well, Batavia refuses to roll over and die. They are put 2 across and now trail 6-4.
And that's something that's a mutual respect that's been shared by Andrew Drum. As a chopper on the ground, left side of the infield. In charge is the third baseman, Weeks. Nice running throw, just in time to nab the hustling Smith. Nate Krukow in the Pioneers dugout, not thrilled, as Cooper Smith not thrilled. As he leaves for the Pioneer dugout, Nate Krukow is going to take up the argument with the field umpire. There's a little bit of chirping out of the Elmira dugout.
Now, that was a bang-bang play, and from my vantage point, I hate to say it, I think Smith beat it out by half a step.
Potentially so, and almost where the old saying, tie goes to the runner, as a fastball taken for a called strike by Wagner. Not to say that it can make a situation any better, especially in Elmira's case. You're down 6 runs, but with such a beautifully acrobatic play and the human nature of an umpire's call, sometimes that can factor into the decision whether safe or out, meant it or not. It's just the nature of human error. As the fastball misses low, count levels at a ball and a strike on the right-handed hitting catcher, Carl Wagner. 0 for 2 in the ball game, a strikeout and a ground out.
I've seen a lot of those plays here at Detrick, though, and rarely do they go the runner's way.
Wagner spanks it foul up against the lid of the press box.
Nice catch in the on-deck circle by Wagner. Came out of the circle, gloved it with his batting glove hand.
Rather, that was Brandon Dubeck, almost kind of like when you saw Kurt Suzuki catching with the Twins years ago, that nice stop to the backhand side when he was at Nationals Park and you had the foul ball right back off the little rock bedding behind home plate, skip right back to the catcher. They're remotely comparable to hockey goalies, Dre. They're just so quick moving. Their reflexes are cat-like, to say the least. 2-2 with 1 out. Fastball just misses at the knees, and the count runs full on Wagner.
Yeah, and then you get the ball girls for the Boston Red Sox and the Minnesota Twins that are out there making spectacular web gem quality plays. Ooh, that one fouled way back. Yeah. Can come from anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I guess even in banana ball, if someone fouls it off and a fan catches it, they're out.
I remember a Yankees-Kansas City Royals game about 12 or 13 years ago. You had a ground ball down the right field line. It was fair, just inside the bag. Ball boy touched when it was fair. So ground ball to the backhand side of third. Skips by, weaks into left field. Wagner's going to motor around first. He'll make the stop right there. A 1-out base runner for the Pioneers here in the 6th as Wagner dumps a single into left.
That was a nice piece of hitting. Catching Weeks a little bit too far off the bag. Driving it past into left field. But it's definitely a bit of a different skill set between Eric Weeks and Brady McGuire over at third base. Blake Herman, another third baseman there as well. So
whether at the big league level or in the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League or anything in between for that matter, as Dubeck watches the fastball outside 1-0. Short lead for Wagner off of first. Third base position is relatively interchangeable. You mainly know who you have at first base. Your shortstop is kind of captain in the infield. Outfield very much interchangeable as well, but third base, you can get power there. You can get speed as this skips away from the catcher Lindquist. Up to second base goes Wagner. So a runner in scoring position and a 2-0 count to the righty hitting Dubeck with 1 out.
And that's a good decision there that time by Lindquist not to throw down to second.
And especially with a 6-run lead, Dre, you don't want to risk anything more. Pioneers already building momentum. 5 hits in their last inning and a third against Tarp Skunks pitching. 5 runs home in the top of the 5th inning. As Brandon Dubeck shares a laugh with the home plate umpire about something. That's definitely a breath of fresh air that the Pioneers always have on their side. The positivity of Brandon Dubeck never lets the moment get too big. He's been one of the clutchest hitters for Elmira this season, and he'll look to keep it going here. Top of the 6th, 2-0 count with 1 out. 2 looks at second base from the righty Rickman, who sets and fires. Fastball way up and in. Count goes to 3-0.
Yeah, that one slipping out of the hand of Rickman goes right to the rosin bag, and Rickman in limited action, it's got that 8+ ERA in 12 innings pitched. This is one of those situations with a 6-run lead. You don't have to overthrow. Just settle down, take your breath, and attack the zone.
And that's exactly what Rickman does there with a 3-0 count. Delivers a fastball over the inside corner for a called strike 1.
Get it over fastball. Got to have it.
5 runs on 8 hits and 1 error for the Pioneers. 11 runs on 8 hits and 2 errors for the Tarp Skunks. Fouled off, so working back, as you mentioned, Dre, from a 3-0 count to a full count. It'd be a big out here for the Tarp Skunks and Rickman should Dubeck go down. 1 for 2 in the ball game. Brandon led off the mayhem-filled visitors stanza in the 5th for Elmira with a single. Came around to score in the process. He'll wait a payoff pitch here with 1 out. Rickman a deep breath from the right side of the rubber, kicks and fires off the outside corner for ball 4.
And with 1 out, Doesn't necessarily hurt to walk the designated hitter at that spot, puts runners at second and first, and with one out, sets up the double play, or the possibility of. And for one of the bottom of the order hitters in Liam O'Neill, came in and hitting .069 again, not indicative of his actual skill set, but does point to the possibility.
Swing and a miss from O'Neill. Fastball letter high, 0-1.
(6-5) now. Batavia coming back against Niagara Falls. That one's still in the top of the 7th inning.
0-1 to O'Neill. Fastball over the inside corner for a called strike 2. O'Neill shaking his head no as he steps out of the righty batter's box to collect himself.
That was a bit of a delayed call there, too. It looked like our home plate umpire wanted to make sure before pulling the trigger on that strike call.
That can almost inadvertently be more frustrating, the patient delay and then the called strike. Nonetheless, 0-2 to O'Neill, who calls time to take an extra moment.
Absolutely gorgeous sunset over the hills, over the left field fence, out past the JCC dorms out there.
Certainly a picturesque summer night's view as a swing and a miss from O'Neill. Breaking ball down in the dirt. Liam's retired on 3 consecutive strikes for out number 2.
This definitely has to be one of my favorite views of any ballpark that I've been in. And that even includes the major leagues. You know, I've been to plenty games at Oracle Park. The interesting thing about that, though, is I have never sat in the second or third deck of Oracle. Always down in the first deck or in the bleachers. So I never really got to really enjoy the picturesque view of the Bay Bridge or any of that.
Fastball misses low and away to Cam Levesque, rounding out the Pioneer batting order this evening. 2 on with 2 out, top of the 6th. Yeah, you're certainly right, Trey, and the fact that you don't get this view, especially because of the way it's geographically positioned at the big league level. The batter's box is to face northeast or east or north, whatever way you go, away from the sun. As a called strike 2 to Levesque, who gets a new shin guard. But the only ballparks that remotely face westward, Coors Field in Denver, which you just know what $1 million view that is, in the Rocky Mountain State, and Citizens Bank Park in the city of brotherly love.
Ballpark I have yet to go to, but am looking forward to.
Certainly would recommend some Chickies and Pete's while you're at it. The crab fries and a cheesesteak in Ashburn Alley, not too bad.
Oh, there we go. I mean, you said cheesesteak. You have my full attention now.
Who doesn't love some good ballpark food? 2-1 the count on Cam Levesque with 2 out. Pioneers looking to go a second consecutive inning of scraping across a run. They have the opportunity to do so thanks to Wagner being in scoring position as ball 3 is delivered low in the dirt. Wagner off of second, Dubeck off of first. The ultimate hitters count for Levesque with Grabowski awaiting on deck. Elmira trails by 6 runs in this critically decisive game for the visitors. 3-1, fastball inside for ball 4, and the bags are juiced for the top of the Pioneer batting order, and Aiden Grabowski, who had a 2 RBI single back up the middle his last trip to the plate.
Well, Elmira showing their fighting spirit. Down 11, could have easily rolled over and just let the mercy happen, but instead showing pride, showing grittiness, showing the fight and the will to win, that competitive spirit. It's turned into a very good ball game here.
It's a righty-on-righty matchup with 2 outs. First offering to Grabowski. Breaking ball inside corner for a called strike.
You know, since we're talking about ballpark food, you know, again, going back to San Francisco, garlic fries. If you do not order a large garlic fries and an ice cold beer, you are doing something wrong.
I think 6 years later, as a pop-up from Grabowski into shallow left, in comes Frizzell. I guess we'll have to talk more about garlic fries in the bottom of the 6th inning as the side's retired. Elmira bends Jamestown, but the Tarp Skunks ultimately do not break. No runs on a hit, and 3 runners left on base. 5.5 through 6-run lead for the home squad on CCS-TV.
I've definitely got more comfortable like being in front of the camera, and I got to like meet new people. If you are into like cameras and news and stuff, I would come here. You get to do a lot of cool stuff. You go to like one of those baseball games, usually you're just stuck in the stands. But with us, no. You can go on the roof or on the field.
If people want to learn more, you just have to go to ccs-tv.com.
Schultz is the place where you can not only find your next new car, you can customize it exactly how you want it. Build a vehicle from one of your favorite brands. Secure rebates and incentives and expect delivery within 6 to 8 weeks. Get the keys to your ride in-store or in your own driveway and enjoy a year of complimentary Schultz Auto Care. Walk in to view our exciting inventory of vehicles arriving daily, or schedule your digital consultation online today to discover why we say you can't beat a Schultz deal.
Right off of like Nautilus and La Jolla. So.
Oh, nice. I love La Jolla. The story of student shows and community sports. You can stream all of our original content anytime on Roku, YouTube, our free mobile apps for iOS and Android, or online at CCS-TV. Plus, we are on social media. Follow CCS Television on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to stay connected with everything happening at CCS. I feel like I've read that before. Only 24 other times this season. Sometimes I lose track of where we are, as it looks like we have a new pitcher.
Indeed we do. It's Casey Julkowski, 2-0. He's been money for the Pioneers. The best ERA of any Elmira Pioneer. The Gresham, Oregon native, an incoming sophomore at Centralia College, a small school outside of Seattle. He's making his 12th appearance, 19 innings on the season, 6 runs, 3 earned, 6 walks, and 11 strikeouts. Julkowski pitching to an opposing average of 194, Mr. Consistent all season, and he'll look to keep it at only a 6-run deficit for the Pioneers, as Elmira's done a great job, Dre, getting back in the ballgame. We're down 11-0, as you alluded to previously. Could have been down and out, packed things up, and gotten ready for the bus ride back to Elmira this evening, but they have not given up. They have left a lot of runners on base tonight, 8, but that's indicative also of the offensive pressure they've been applying throughout the course of the ballgame, and they'll look to keep the Jamestown Bats at bay here with Julkowski.
As Hartley Hogue sets a lead off for the Jamestown Tarp Skunks, he slides into the number 1 spot as Brady McGuire's night ended back in the 5th inning. Defensive replacement coming in. 0 for 1 as a Jamestown Tarp Skunk just arrived here. And the first pitch taken on the outside corner for a strike. 0-1 the count. Hogue, Smith, and Slanker due up here. Unless we have more lineup shenanigans. Still trying to figure out where Nico Frizzell fits into the whole batting order, as it is 1-1. Pitch on the outside, missing the zone.
Eric Weeks remains in his spot, so potentially in place of the EH board chart, maybe my thought, Dre?
Possibly, if they decided to surrender the extra hitter. Batavia has taken the 7-6 lead over Niagara Falls, and this is why we can't have Walmart quality things. You think you have things going nicely, and then all of a sudden Batavia takes the lead. 2-2 the count. 2 Hogue. Smith on deck.
I always said it's not over until Kate Smith sings.
Wow.
Put it the nice way, but that's what it is, a 9-inning game, baseball. Ultimate marathon sport.
And that one missing on the inside, and Hogue works himself into a full count, 3-2. I think it was back in either 87. It was either 87 or 89. And there's a line drive grounder to second through the legs of Grabowski and into left field. That is still up for debate on how they're going to score that.
It's going to go down as an error on Grabowski, a very uncharacteristic one at that. Aiden with a .953 fielding percentage across the course of 30-plus ball games at the shortstop position for Elmira in his second season. He's been Mr. Reliable, but a bit of an unfortunate bounce there for the leadoff base runner as Hogue reaches.
Well, I think, as they say in Boston, that took a wicked hop because it looked like he had it ranged, and it took a left turn at Albuquerque, went under his legs. As a line drive to second, gloved by O'Neill. The throw to try to get Hogue off of first is thrown away and toward the Pioneers' dugout. So Hogue will advance to second.
Will be a throwing error on Liam O'Neill. Second consecutive error. Liam makes a great play, though, there on the backhand side, might I add. But the E4 allows Hogue to get into scoring position for the powerful Ben Slanker.
So Slanker stands in. 0 for 2 on the day, has walked and scored a run. And I've got to say, at this point, that PGCBL Player of the Week thing might be the PGCBL version of the Madden curse. Gavin Boyle got it last week and then proceeded to go a week of 0 for. Now this week, Ben Slanker gets it, and since then has yet to get a base hit. It's final in Auburn, 19-2, the final, the Double Days beating the Geneva Red Wings. Batavia up 7-6, bottom 7 in Niagara Falls. As time asked for, not granted, and a called strike on the outside. Oh and 2 to Slanker, 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Tarp Skunks with a 6-run lead. In what has turned into a slow-paced ball game here at Detrick Park. And the pitch, there's a line drive into left field. That is a base hit. Hogue will hold up at third. And Slanker not only breaks through with a single, runners at first and third. Justin Bremner coming up with only 1 out here.
I think a silent element that goes unnoticed, Trey, is Cam Levesque just having familiarity with this ballpark, getting the start at the left field position tonight. There's been so many interchangeable left fielders over the course of the 2025 season for Elmira. You've had Shane Starr, you've had Dylan Fatovich, 2 newcomers. Here you have a guy comfortable with the ballpark. He's able to charge in there, played on an easy hop. Nice play from the Pioneer left fielder, runners on the corners.
Bremner, who homered back in the 2nd inning, a 3-run jack, swings and misses at the first pitch. And it's 0-1. For Bremner, that's his 3rd home run of the season. Tied with his Canisius teammate Eric Weeks. And the pitch. Swinging, there's a chopper foul.
Golden Griffins know how to produce a little bit of pop.
Oh, yeah. Come to find out, so I still have no idea where half of the things are in New York. I've been here 3.5 years. I barely leave my house, so it was only yesterday o'clock when I found out the Canisius is only 45 minutes from here, so I'll definitely be going to check them out over the springtime.
Good old Buffalo, New York. Produces some good ball players, too.
Runner goes, pitch taken for a ball. Throw does not go down to second. Slanker will steal it on, I don't know if I would call that catcher's indifference or not.
Father of a friend always said to me growing up, the ball players that make it out of the Northeast are especially special because they have to deal with all the grinding elements of the winter conditions that are not necessarily favorable to the regiment of a baseball-specific athlete.
Swing and a miss by Bremner. He goes down on strikes.
But you look at an example like Matt Barr. Went to JUCO to begin, no NIL. Came out of Cheektowaga High School in the Buffalo area. And now playing rookie ball for the Minnesota Twins. Congrats to him.
Absolutely. I think Tarp Skunks have yet to have a draftee, but, this only being the 5th year in the league, not a big pool to draft from as of yet. Really our year one guys would just be, finishing up their senior years in colleges, so maybe eligible for the draft as Borchardt takes the first pitch outside for a ball, 1-0. I think I finally figured out where Nico Frizzell will hit.
When Jamestown were in its latest phases of closing out the days of affiliated ball, you had the wild pitch.
That one way back to the backstop, a pitch definitely lost control of, and a run scores. So 12-6 now. Tarp Skunks with the lead. McDad Hogue comes in to score. Slenker moves over to third, and it's 2-0 to the Tarp Skunks at-bat leader. Most at-bats for any hitter this season, closing on that 130 mark.
You mentioned before the ball game, Dre, that Borchardt was just one of the most consistent hitters in the lineup, and durability can certainly be a moniker that proves that.
There's a high fly ball, right field playable. Gramesty makes the catch, and the inning is over. The Tarp Skunks put one more back up on the board. Leads now 7. It's 12-5 going to the top of the 7th.
I've definitely got more comfortable being in front of the camera.
What's life like in Chautauqua County? It's where small-town charm meets world-class culture, where your downtime gets an upgrade across miles of lakes, state parks, and vibrant local vineyards, where you can live the high life at a low cost as your dollars go further and your roots grow deeper. Whether you're building a business or advancing your career, settling down or settling up, choose Chautauqua County, where every step you take is toward the life you love. Start your next chapter at livechq.org.
Our generation has a choice. Turn away from the world's problems or chase them down. We refuse to sit back and watch them pass us by. Watch us fly ahead. Rise to every challenge and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
It is the 7th inning summary presented by Schultz Auto Group, a proud sponsor of the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. Visit any of our locations in Jamestown or Warren or online at schultzauto.com. 7th inning summary. It's been a wild one here at Detrick Park. 12 runs for the Tarp Skunks on 9 hits, 2 errors. 5 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors for the Elmira Pioneers. It looked like it was going to be a one-way ball game. However, after 3 innings of play, the Tarp Skunks with an 11-0 lead. The Elmira Pioneers turned it on in the top of the 5th inning, putting up 5, and it is definitely still anybody's ball game as we go to the top of the 7th. We have a new pitcher for the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. I'll get you the information on him, but due up to face our new pitcher, it's going to be 2-3-4 for the Pioneers, Rody, Gramesty, and Castro, and Farrell Hudson to continue telling you about it and doing a fantastic job, by the way.
Well, thank you as always, Trey, and welcome back to CCS-TV, Jamestown Tarp Skunks Baseball, the Elmira Pioneers, and the Jamestown Tarp Skunks for the 4th time this season. As Dre mentioned, 2, 3, and 4 in the Elmira order against a new pitcher in the ballgame. It's the southpaw Mark Holmes, second lefty the Pioneers will face in the ballgame, making his 7th appearance across 9 2/3 innings of work. No earned runs on 3 hits. He's walked 10 and struck out only 4, but pitching to an opposing batting average of 100. Dribbled on the ground to second, throw to first, just in time to nab the hustling roadie from Harley Hogue. Plugged into the ballgame as a defensive replacement in the top of the 5th inning. As Roadie's down for the 3rd time in the ballgame, Ben now 1 for 4, 1 out, and the base is clean in the top of the 7th for the 3-hitting TJ Grimesti lefty on righty matchup.
And Grimesti, I've called him a few variations of his names this season. Grimesti, whatever that was. When I was reading off the 1, 2, 3s.
Grimesti spanks it on a line to left field, and it takes an awkward hop and trickles past Nico Frizzell all the way to the wall. Grimesti coasts around second base. He's thinking 3. He makes the turn. The throw from Frizzell is cut off by the shortstop and Marshall, who fires it past third base. Luckily for the Tarp Skunks' sake, Lindquist was back as the last line of defense to intercept any possibility of Grimesti achieving the Little League homer. For now, it'll go down as a triple, and the 9th hit of the ball game for the Pioneers, a runner on third base with 1 out.
And that's just an unfortunate situation. Frizzell coming in on the ball, trying to stop his tracks and go back, and just slipped. Almost had it on the backhand, though, from the ground.
Swing and a miss from Manny Castro, 0-1.
Mark Holm, when he first arrived to the team, came in a little bit late. Came into a game against Batavia where it was 2-1. Came in the 9th inning and gave up no earned runs, unfortunately. Walked 3 and ended up taking the loss. And then also had another situation in Niagara Falls in one of those rain games. I think that was the game that had 17 combined errors.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Niagara Falls came back in the bottom of the 9th to win that one. That one, I mean, some of these games this year have been absolutely crazy.
It'll be an 0-2 to Castro with 1 out. A swing and a miss from Manny. He's down for out number 2. First strikeout in the ballgame for Mark Holm.
And Holm doing what he needs to do, put the runner at third out of his mind. In the grand scheme of things, 1 run scored here. It's not going to have a big effect on the ball game. It does get Elmira a little bit closer, but rather than wasting your time worrying about a runner at third when you have a 7-run lead, just go right after the hitter.
It's Brett Baker in with 2 outs, breaking ball, outside corner for a called strike. For Baker in the ballgame, 0 for 3, fly ball grounder and strikeout to conclude the top of the 5th. The speedy Grimesti is off of third base with 2 outs. Elmira trails by 7, a changeup, swing and a miss. Holm freezing Baker there, way ahead of that one, 0-2.
Holm originally came in, penciled in, and used as a closer. In a situation like this, try to come out, eat up an inning, get some action. Don't know where that missed.
Just off the plate. Tarp Skunks fans wanted a called strike 3, didn't get it. So the count goes to 1-2. Lefty on lefty matchup with 2 outs and a runner on third.
You got about 1,000 umpires down there. The only one that matters did not call it a strike.
1-2 outside. Holm looking to complete a scoreless 7th inning of work. Five runs on 9 hits and 3 errors for Elmira. 12 runs on 9 hits and 2 errors for Jamestown. Two-two, dribbled on the ground weakly to second. Looking to hustle it out as Baker is unable to, as the throw from Hogue in time to nab the Pioneers center fielder to conclude the top of the 7th inning. No runs and a hit, and a runner left on base. Get up and stretch. 6.5 through. Jamestown ahead by 7 on CCS-TV.
All right, it's time to courtesy of the Southern Chautauqua Federal Credit Union, where they impact lives empower future, and achieve results. Whether you're banking in person or online, SCFCU is proud to serve the Chautauqua County community. Learn more at 665-7000.com, and let's hear it for your Tarp Skunks. We'll take the break and be back.
What's life like in Chautauqua County? It's where small-town charm meets world-class culture, where your downtime gets an upgrade across miles of lakes, state parks, and vibrant local vineyards, where you can live the high life at a low cost as your dollars go further and your roots grow deeper. Whether you're building a business or advancing your career, settling down or settling up, choose Chautauqua County, where every step you take is toward the life you love. Start your next chapter at livechq.org.
Our generation has a choice. Turn away from the world's problems or chase them down. We refuse to sit back and watch them pass us by. Watch us fly ahead. Rise to every challenge and overcome anything. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Oh, that's right.
What's life like in Chautauqua County? It's where
Nico Frizzell, Eric Weeks, Dom Costello due up here in the bottom of the seventh inning. 12-5, Jamestown with the lead. New pitcher on the mound, and Farrell, tell us all about.
It is Jacob Moniz, the right-hander out of Rhode Island College, formerly UMass Dartmouth, making his first relief appearance on the season for your Elmira Pioneers. For Jacob Moniz coming in as the fifth pitcher in the ball game, the fifth righty for Elmira, Garrett Rochon, Sam Watts, Bryce Mashanik, and Bobby Boying. Boying lasting 2 1/3, no earned runs, a walk and 2 strikeouts on no hits.
2-1 the count to Nico Frizzell. There's a swing, and there's a high fly ball, left center field. That one is way back there, and it's gone! Nico Frizzell with his third home run of the season. Hit it high and watch it fly. It's 13-5 Tarp Skunks.
That ball was absolutely hammered by Frizzell, who came into the ball game as a defensive replacement for Eric Weeks, who positioned over at third in the top of the fifth inning. Frizzell, first swing of the night on a fastball in the zone, sits dead red on the heater and drives it over the deep blue left center field wall. What a shot, second of the night for the Tarp Skunks, open back up an 8-run lead.
Yeah, second time this season the Tarp Skunks have had multiple home runs in a game. First time here at Jamestown as the first pitch to Eric Weeks up high for a ball 1-0. And I think I might have pumped Nico up a little bit. Before the game, he and I were talking, and he has the dubious honor of being the Tarp Skunk to drive in the first RBIs of this season. Starting to go back and put together the 2025 highlight reel and told him about that before the game. He was surprised and excited, didn't know that, and
talking
here.
Ancient short season baseball history now, drive 55 days ago, dating ourselves a bit from day one of this season to this point now.
I know. I started this season, walking in with a cane. I think I'm going to need a wheelchair by the end of it. As there's a curveball misses and goes to the backstop, 3-1. So quickly you can age in 45 days, 55 days. You know, when I started, my goatee was fully brown. You know, now it's all gray. As Weeks draws a walk.
Seasons change.
Yeah.
As does the roller coaster ride of a baseball season. You know, I know you were promoting fireworks night in a couple nights, Trey. The Tarp Skunks bringing the fireworks tonight. Forget even needing a fireworks night.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, hopefully if things can work out, and, you know, things can work out between now and then, it could be fireworks to celebrate a first-place spot in the PGC Bells. There's a weak fly ball out into left field, and running over and making a fantastic catch is Levesque crossing into foul territory for the first out. Weeks will hold at first.
Levesque, like a jackrabbit, had to cover about 100 feet of real estate right there. A nice sliding catch, as you mentioned, in foul territory, Dre. An important first out for the Pioneers. Limit the pitch count of Jacob Moniz. As we've mentioned already, the fifth pitcher in the ball game, down 8 runs.
As that's going to bring up Aiden Alasko, 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts on the day. First pitch bounces in the dirt, gets away from Wagner. Moniz has to come off the mound to field the ball. And moving to second into scoring position is Weeks on the wild pitch.
There's two things there. Yeah, you don't want the pass ball, but you know that a pitch has to be so nasty when you have Carl Wagner at the catcher's position disoriented. Jacob Moniz doing a nice job of attempting to execute, even though he's behind in the count, doing something a little bit different than the fastball, which obviously did get tattooed dead red by Frizzell earlier in the inning.
And that's what they call spin rate. You know, it's amazing how technology and terms and things have evolved in Major League Baseball. As there's a weak chopper, fair ball to third, picked up by Castro, throw on to first.
And a nice job by Grabowski backing up the third base bag.
Absolutely. 2 away now, and Branson Lindquist comes to the plate. I mean, you know, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to say it. Back in my day, you know, we didn't have advanced metrics. We didn't have sabermetrics. We didn't, you know, we didn't even we had the short-lived game-winning RBI as a stat.
Yep.
You know, it was very cut and dry. 2 divisions, or you know, you had your East and West and National American. As Lindquist pops it up into the Bermuda Triangle, picked up by Baker in center field to end the inning. 1 run does come across on the Nico Frizzell home run. We go to the top of the 8th inning, 13-5 Jamestown.
Welcome to the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, located at 15 West 3rd Street in Jamestown. Visitors will see photographs, awards, apparel, and other sports memorabilia. We invite all visitors to stop in the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame and learn about the sports history of Chautauqua County.
(13-5) Jamestown with the lead as we go to the top of the 8th inning. It will be Smith, Wagner, and Dubeck due up for the Elmira Pioneers, and Farrell Hudson here to tell you about the top of the 8th.
Thank you, Dre. Mark Holm remains on the mound as the Tarp Skunks have a 13-5 lead over the Elmira Pioneers. Third matchup of the season between both squads from Russell E. Detrick Park. Fourth meeting on the season between both teams. Glad you could spend part of your Wednesday night with us on CCS-TV as Tarp Skunks trying to move into first place. Batavia Muck Dogs doing their best to try and make that not happen. The last time we checked, a 7-6 Batavia lead, which it remains at the moment. Auburn locking down the victory 19-2 versus Geneva, the only two teams off tonight, the Newark Pilots and the Niagara Ironbacks in Canada. Newark Pilots will see the Pioneers tomorrow night. Elmira will travel up to Colburn Park for the final meeting of the season between both squads. So pressure starting to mount on the Pioneers. Could potentially lose their 18th ball game of the season with 4 remaining in the regular season. The season's been dwindled down now to 44 games for the Pioneers, and same goes for the Tarp Skunks after Sunday's doubleheader was washed out from Dunn Field. Cooper Smith to stand in from the right side against the lefty Holm, working from the left side of the rubber, and the fastball misses high and away. 1-0.
And this Friday, the home finale for the Jamestown Tarp Skunks. Always a bittersweet ball game. You wait all season, all winter long for spring baseball, and it comes and goes in a blink of an eye. I wouldn't mind doing a couple more months of this.
I think you're looking more at the sweet than the bitter, though, at this point, Dre, with the way your Tarp Skunks are standing in the West Division heading into the playoffs.
It's definitely a different feel this season than last year. At this point of the season last year, yes, the Skunks clinched it toward the end on a day they weren't even playing, and with a 6 games under 500 record, they finished the season 19-25, 19-26. And that was definitely more bitter than sweet. This one, you're right, definitely does feel a little bit more sweet than bitter, but still, I wouldn't mind coming out here for all of August and doing another month of this.
It's certainly a nice one-year turnaround for the Tarp Skunks for sure, and point of emphasis that Nasty Nate Krukow, the Elmira Pioneer pitching coach, was alluding to in discussion with me earlier this week as Smith takes low and the count runs full, said that teams last year, the Pioneers, locked down the number 2 seed in the West Division. They hosted the Auburn Double Days in that first round ball game. Pioneers eventually got to Batavia to clinch their back-to-back West Division championship, but 24 wins for the Pioneers. Elmira right now just about on that same pace. It doesn't even get you the 4 seed heading into the PGCBL playoffs this year. As Smith draws ball 4 on an outside fastball, a leadoff base runner for the Pios in the top of the 8th.
And another thing too, I don't think we've seen like a dominant team really control from start to finish. Last year, obviously, Batavia opened up with that ridiculous win streak when won like their first 12 or 13 in a row to start the season, and it was basically everybody was looking up at the Muck Dogs for the entire season. Not really getting that this year. The Tarp Skunks, day one, beat the Batavia Muck Dogs. We've had our time in first place. Elmira's gotten into first place. Auburn has had it there. Niagara Falls, Batavia. Everybody's had a taste at the top this year, and it's definitely, I think, a lot more refreshing when you have that kind of parity rather than franchise legacy. And I think we were talking about, why I'm not a big fan of the Yankees, and I think that's why. Is that I'm a big fan of parity. I don't like the dynasty, the empire model in sports. The San Francisco 49ers in the 80s, the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s, the New York Yankees, the Pirates when they had their run in the 70s, the A's when they had their run, even the Giants from 2010, 12, 14. I don't like calling that a dynasty. And I think it's the dynasty model, it's the dynasty mindset of those owners that do more harm to the game than good.
Could certainly be a point for sure. I'm sure the Amsterdam Mohawks over in the East Division would like a word. 8 championships across 17 years, 3 consecutive.
Skunks GFX@gmail.com if you're in Amsterdam.
Inquiries taken.
Absolutely.
1-2 inside to Carl Wagner. 2 balls and 2 strikes on the Pioneers catcher. 1 for 3 in the ball game. A single in the top of the 6th. But, yeah, no, for sure, Dre. I mean, you have 5 teams that have been in the top of the PGCBL West Division this year. It's certainly impressive. 6-team dogfight. Basically to the very end, only 4 physical days remaining in the West Division regular season. This one punctured into deep left center field on his horse, and the gap cuts Frizzell as he puts it away for out number 1 in the inning. getting a little ahead of ourselves there. Feeling pretty good after launching that solo shot, suffice it to say, in the bottom of the 7th.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll bring up the righty hitting DH, Brandon Dubeck, for the 4th time in the ball game. Brandon has been an unbelievable contributor throughout the course of his 2nd season in Elmira. Continues to display it tonight. Rather, reached base in 2 of 3 plate appearances. A walk his last trip to the plate in the top of the 6th. A single to get the scoring festivities started in the best inning of baseball for the Pioneers this evening. A 5-run top of the 5th. And a strikeout swinging in the top of the 2nd. So rather a pinch hitter in for Brandon Dubeck. It's going to be Vincent Favada, who has had certainly some great at-bats this season, Dre. His first full game in a while that he played a couple weeks ago, squaring to bunt, now drawing it back. Throw back to first base and attempts to nab Smith. Not successful. Skips by the first baseman Smith on the throw. Back pick from the catcher Lindquist. Count 0-1 on Favada.
Another great baseball name. And there's, part of the game, too, is that, not only do you have to identify the great baseball name, but figure out which team that name belongs on in the major leagues.
Absolutely. The name game is one that I've certainly become familiarly acquainted with as a kid, playing with a lot of friends. And you got Vincent Favada, a guy with a lot of promise, redshirted in his first season of collegiate baseball, a freshman from Syosset, New York, cuts through the letter-high fastball. Spent his first season at Mount St. Mary's University. Has had limited playing time with the Pioneers this summer, but his first full ball game back in the starting lineup a couple weeks ago, 2 for 5 with 2 extra base hits, and he's going to have likely another extra base hit here, and he will. He smacks it deep in the right center field gap. Smith's going to coast around third. He gets the wave from Andy Drum. He comes to the plate on an RBI triple for Vincent Favada, and it's now 13-6 Tarp Skunks.
Well, keep it interesting, Elmira, as Favada comes off the bench, drives it right into the gap, and it rolled almost to the second deepest part of the ballpark, that 414 marker out there that resembles Triples Alley out in Oracle Park in San Francisco. Something gets out there, that's almost inside the park alley. And had Bremner not been able to get to it when he did, we could have been looking at the inside park variety.
Absolutely. Fastball taken inside from O'Neill, 1-0. That's kind of ironic, too, considering generations apart. Giants playing years at Candlestick Park, but they move into what was then named as Pacific Bell Park at the start of the 2000 season, I want to say.
2000 season, yep. Pacific
2000
Bell Park.
season, Pac Bell Park, eventually
AT&T. AT&T, now Oracle.
And now Oracle, but 40 years after the Polo Grounds were no longer in existence, Polo Grounds with a deep center field alley, about 500 feet out there back in the old days of the 1950s New York Giants. 1-1 to O'Neill, a swing and a miss. Fastball inner third, Liam cuts through it, 1-2.
Well, Candlestick Park didn't really have depth in their outfield. What they had was wicked wind swirls, and there were days you could go to Candlestick Park on a hot, sunny July afternoon and sit in the right field family pavilion, which was up in the retractable stands for football, and it would literally be 20, 25 degrees colder in just those stands than in the rest of the ballpark. That wind, when it would swirl, it would almost do a cyclonic action. So anything that would go up, pop up into right field would be an adventure on those kind of nights.
Certainly a significant home field advantage. Fastball taken just inside by O'Neill. Tarp Skunks thought they had the inside corner, didn't get it, and the count runs full.
I'm not necessarily sure it actually ever was much of a home field advantage. It hurt San Francisco just as much as it helped them at times.
Especially considering the frequent years without enjoyed playoff success. You did have the 1989 World Series, in which the Giants were, unfortunately for their cause, swept in 4 ball games.
I have very dark memories of 1989, considering I was there.
Solid decade and a half prior to my existence.
The earthquake, and this will still be an argument to this day.
Inside for ball 4. O'Neill's on. Runners on the corners with 1 out.
So I honestly don't think it would have been a sweep You know, it may have gone 6 games and the A's would have prevailed, but the fact that, you know, after the earthquake, there were 10, 11 days of inactivity. Both teams were basically able to reset their pitching rotation back to the start. You know, I think that if that hadn't happened and they were able to keep on rotation, would have been a much different series.
Earthquake from a baseball perspective, potentially a blessing in disguise. Either way you look at it,
from a
for
community,
better, for worse.
Oh yeah, from a community perspective, though, that was, you know, it was to see the damage, to see the Bay Bridge on the Jumbotron, the section that had collapsed, you know, the Nimitz Freeway, that double-deck freeway that paralleled through Oakland, past the Oakland Coliseum, up to where the Bay Bridge was, you know, and that collapse, that whole 880 corridor. I mean, it really showed, you know, the level of community that the Bay Area had, and then when the World Series got back together, you know, there almost was the city and Major League Baseball almost asking permission from the A's fans and the Giants fans. Is it too soon, or should we go ahead and get it in? And they did it. It, you know, it's definitely a harrowing point in history, you know, and you can watch it on TV, you can watch it on YouTube and the History Channel and things like that and get an idea. But unless you live through an event like that, and you know, September 11th is another, you know, one of those events, the earthquakes down in LA, and anytime there's a natural disaster, Katrina, you know,
Hurricane Harvey with the Astros in 2017.
Exactly, you know, all of those life-changing events definitely changes you, and it will stick with you for your life.
3-1, just missing the inside corner. Bases are loaded again for the top of the Pioneer batting order. 2 consecutive walks, 3 in the inning issued by Mark Holm in his second inning of work. He's now 1.1 into his outing. Frank Jagoda with the long trot out to the mound. Potentially this is the end of the line for the 4th pitcher in the ball game, second southpaw for Jamestown.
Well, he hasn't made the call yet. Maybe trying to set his infield for, you know, bases loaded, 1 out, you know, something play in, something sharp on the ground, look home first, you know, home to first, or, you know, something deep in the hole, look for that double play. But there is activity in the Tarp Skunks bullpen, so, you know, there is not going to be that much longer of a leash on Mark Holm.
And potentially for good reason. You have one of the best hitters up for the Pioneers. It's the 6th hitter to come to the plate in the inning for Elmira, who scraped across a run already thanks to the prudent work of Vinny Favada drilling an RBI triple in the right center field gap. It's Grabowski up, lefty on righty with the bases loaded. A high pop third base side foul out of play, 0-1.
And this 8th inning, oddly mirroring the activities of the 6th. Bases loaded, going back to the top of the order back in that situation. Difference between the 6th and the 8th, though, is that Grabowski up with only 1 out as opposed to 2.
Favada leads off of 3rd, O'Neill off of 2nd, Levesque off of 1st. A 1 offering to Grabowski, dribbled behind the plate, 0-2.
And he's up there to hack. He's not up there to draw a walk, try to move the chains. He's up there to drive in runs.
Grabowski, in his 5th inning plate appearance, became the Pioneers' RBI leader in game number 40 on the season for Elmira with 23. Roughly equate that to a big league season. You're looking at a 91 to 94 RBI pace. 0-2 with 1 out, tipped into the glove of the catcher in Lindquist. Grabowski arguing that it might have hit the dirt beforehand. He'll share a word with the plate umpire, who says he didn't see anything. Grabowski a bit more animated. As Grab said, it hit his bat. Plate umpire is waving his hand saying he didn't see it.
I mean, so, I heard it hit off the bat. I just
don't know if it hit the dirt.
Yeah, I don't know if Lindquist got a clean connection on it. He sold it like he did, and the home plate umpire bought it. So, you know, that's a good job by Branson Lindquist. It's exactly what a catcher's supposed to do.
Bases remain loaded with 2 outs. It's Ben Rohde to the plate, 1 for 4 in the ball game for Ben. as he takes it low, and it's 1-0. Nice crowd on hand on this Wednesday evening.
Oh, yeah. Friday night is going to be a packed house here.
1-0, Rohde into left field for a base hit. Favada scores. O'Neal right behind him. He comes to the plate. The throw from Frizzell, unable to be cut off by Weeks, comes all the way into the catcher, Lindquist. It's a moot point because it's a 2-run single for Ben Rohde. His second hit of the ball game. 2 more runs for the Pioneers, 3 in the inning on the second hit against the Southpaw home, and it's now 13-8.
Yeah, and with that, Frank Chiguta is going to come out and make the Schultz Auto call to the bullpen. That is going to be all for Mark Holm. His evening is almost done. He is responsible for the 2 runners left on base. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with a new Tarp Skunks pitcher. 13-8, Jamestown with the lead.
I've definitely got more comfortable like being in front of the camera, and I got to like meet new people. If you are into like cameras and news and stuff, I would come here. You get to do a lot of cool stuff. You go to like one of those baseball games, usually you're just stuck in the stands. But with us, no. You can go on the roof or on the field.
If people want to learn more, you just have to go to CCS-TV.com.
Schultz is the place where you can not only find your next new car, you can customize it exactly how you want it. Build a vehicle from one of your favorite brands. Secure rebates and incentives and expect delivery within 6 to 8 weeks. Get the keys to your ride in-store or in your own driveway and enjoy a year of complimentary Schultz Auto Care. Walk in to view our exciting inventory of vehicles arriving daily, or schedule your digital consultation online today to discover why we say you can't beat a Schultz deal.
New pitcher for the Jamestown Tarp Skunks is Brady Burdine. Got the number wrong. Burdine coming in with 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning. 2 on for the Elmira Pioneers, who's already brought 3 across. An update in Niagara Falls, the Americans holding on to a 9-7 lead, top of the 9th inning with 2 outs. So, scoreboard watching in progress as Burdine stands in to face Gramesty, and Farrell Hudson here to tell you about it.
Runners on first and second with 2 outs. Pioneers trail by 5. Righty on righty matchup. Brady Burdine against TJ Gramesty. First off for a good side. TJ ducks out of the way, 1-0 in his first 4 trips to the plate this evening. Gramesty has reached base in 3 of them. 2 triples on the evening for the Pioneers. 3 triples in the ball game. They've scraped across 8 runs on 11 hits and potentially another one. Deep to right field. That's over the head of Slanker into the wall. Coming in to score easily is Levesque. Rohde behind him. He'll score on, guess what? Another triple. Make it a hat trick of triples on the day for Gramesty. And now it's a 3-run ball game all of a sudden. 5 runs on 3 hits in the top of the 8th for the Elmira Pioneers.
Absolutely incredible. 13-10 in a game that was 11-0 back after the first third. And the Skunks fighting for their playoff spot, I think, may have got a little excited and in their own head.
Chopped on 2 hops. The high hop handled by the shortstop Marshall throws to first in time to conclude the top of the 8th inning. 5 runs on 3 hits and a runner left on base. 7.5 through. Don't go anywhere. It's a 13-10 Jamestown ball game on CCS-TV.
Welcome to the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, located at 15 West 3rd Street in Jamestown. Visitors will see photographs, awards, apparel, and other sports memorabilia. We invite all visitors to stop in the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame and learn about the sports history of Chautauqua County.
We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It'll be Hartley Hogue, Nolan Smith, and Ben Slanker due up for the Jamestown Tarp Skunks, leading 13-10 in a back-and-forth ball game between the Tarp Skunks and the Pioneers as Hogue squares the bunt. Bunts it foul down the third baseline, 0-1. And the scoreboard watching has come to an end for the night as the Niagara Falls Americans have defeated the Batavia Muck Dogs by a final score of 9-7. Batavia's record drops to 27-13-1, or make that 27-12-1, putting their win percentage at .687. If the Tarp Skunks are able to hold on, they will take first place by 0.005 of a percentage point.
Pretty impressive with the calculation there, Dre. Right down to the nitty-gritty, right down to the wire, the way they have it in this West Division.
Absolutely. I may not be great at math, but I can figure that one out as Hogue lines one right to Smith at first, puts it away unassisted. And Nolan Smith will come to the plate with 1 out. You know, it's one of those weird things. You look at the standings and you see the game behind and you try to figure it out based off games behind. We don't go by games behind in this league. It's all about win percentage.
You mentioned all about kind of the old school versus the new school baseball fan and kind of how you just look at a stat line years ago. Guys batting .225, 16 homers, 42 RBIs, kind of similar to a bit of confusion that parents and coaches and contributors alike to the Pioneers have asked me on a consistent basis, well, how do you decipher their win streak right now? Because you're so used to just seeing, teams 2.5 games back, simple win-loss record, but ties an important factor in deciding it all.
Ties don't belong in baseball, in my opinion. And I think in most baseball fans' opinions, they would agree on it. Now, how they work here in the PGCBL is they count for half a win.
Yep.
So with Nolan Smith drawing a 4-pitch walk, that's going to bring up Ben Slanker with 1 out. And with that tie, that puts Batavia at 27.5 wins compared to 12 losses. Jamestown, or actually 13. I don't know. I'm too caught up in this ball game to figure out math. You want to do math? Go to school.
A lot of math involved in baseball, though, that's for sure.
Yep. I think the last time I was asked to do math on the air, it was a Sunday, and I said it wasn't in my contract. Well, it's a Wednesday, and it's not in my contract. One 1-0 to Slanker. Fastball up and in, 2-0. And this is where the Pioneers are going to run into the toughest part of the order, Smith, Slinker, Bremner, Borchardt, and Nico Frizzell. As that one misses up high, 3-0.
Very, very dangerous Jamestown lineup.
There's a high foul backing out of play on what could have been ball 4.
Great to see outside the concourse today. All the former names and players came through the short season New York Penn League in the days of the Jamestown Jammers.
Yeah, Randy Johnson, Dave Roberts. Line drive. Oh!
Was that, I believe, when Dave Roberts was in the days of the Montreal Expos?
Yeah.
With Jamestown Expos, 1994.
Yeah. Giancarlo Stanton is a member of the then Florida Marlins.
Gunnar Henderson.
No.
Bo Porter eventually went on to manage the Houston Astros. Matt Dominguez also spent some time in Houston.
Runner goes, and a weak pop-up behind second base. Smith, having to race back to the bag, will get there as the catch is made. Slinker out on the pop-up.
Andy Haynes, also the hitting coach of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah.
Managed the 2009 Jammers squad.
I've got a little bit of, school 6 degrees of separation. I went to the same high school as Brandon Crawford.
Oh, there we go.
Pleasanton, California. Foothill High School. He's the only former Falcon to have his number retired out there in the right field fence. Of course, he was 11 years behind me, so never really knew him.
Sister Amy enjoying a great career as a UCLA Bruin in softball. His brother-in-law now enjoying a successful tenure with the New York Yankees.
As Smith went on a delayed steal, the ill-advised throw went into center field. So
E2 on Wagner.
Another error on Wagner. I think that's his second of the night. And it puts Smith over at third base with 2 out. And base hit will add a little insurance going into the top of the 9th inning. That one missing out and away, 2-0. Nate Borchardt on deck. Bremner electrified everybody with that long 2-run home run in the second inning. As there's a swing and a miss, 2-1.
Not sure if we were talking about this before the game, Dre, but the elimination of the minor league system during COVID in 2020 ruined a lot of fantastic local affordable opportunities to see players to the likings of Giancarlo Stanton. Was talking with a few members of the Auburn Doubledays staff as drawing ball 4 is Bremner, second walk of the inning by Moniz, but I'm talking about Anthony Rendon just pulling up to Auburn, New York, making a rehab assignment. How about 17 games for a young 17-year-old Juan Soto in his days with the Auburn Doubledays? Just so unique to see all the players that have come through the New York Penn League.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and going back to 2020, COVID was, you almost thought that for a second that it wouldn't affect spring training. As there's a long, high fly ball down the right field line, hooking, foul. And out of play, Borchardt gave that a ride, but just hooked it about 20 feet foul. Don't think it would have gotten out of here. Definitely would have gotten to the wall, that 342 mark.
Very similar to Safeco Field, the dimensions here. Now T-Mobile Park.
Yeah.
Dating myself a little bit, 10 years back now, but very deep right field fence. Can play to a team's advantage, but can also serve as a deficit if you have a little bit of power.
Runner goes to second. Throw down is not in time. Bremner steals it. Almost surprised Nolan Smith didn't get sent on a double steal there. 1-1 to Borchardt. He singled with an RBI. Struck out 1 for 4 on the night. 2 outs here, 13-10 Jamestown with the lead late. Have a chance to put some more on the board as Borchardt takes a strike down the pipe, 1-2. Smith at third, Bremner at second. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning in what has turned into a very competitive ball game. And there's a fly ball out into right center field. Coming over is Baker, and it's off his glove and falls. 2 runs are going to score as the throw goes all the way just to the left of the Tarp Skunks dugouts. And we'll see how they score that. I would have to give that a base hit.
It's so tough because you have Brett Baker running in 100 feet, TJ Garmesti playing almost to the warning track on Borchardt.
And leaping at it.
My, oh my.
No, they're going to give him an error. I think Borchardt got robbed out of 2 RBIs there. As that was a long run, and Baker trying to make a leaping catch. I guess they're going to give him the error because it looked like he overran the ball and was leaping to try to reach back, but 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. 2 runs score. It's now 15-10. And now we got some
warnings were issued to both sides. I guess the field umpire felt he was well within his prerogative to do such, with both teams chirping at one another. It seemed as if Aiden Grabowski, Pioneer shortstop, was having a bit of a animated conversation with Tarp Skunks head coach Frank Jagoda, who came to retrieve the batting gloves of his EH and Nathan Borchardt, who got on via an E8. The chirping's been back and forth all evening. If you remember Colin Bullock coming off the mound, he and the Pioneers dugout were vehemently being vociferous with one another. So, interesting.
No, like I said, an emotionally charged ball game. And with 2 out, Nico Frizzell swings and misses at the first pitch he sees. 0-1 Frizzell, a replacement for Brady Marshall back in the 7th inning, hit a long solo home run. His 3rd of the season. 2nd long ball. His first one was an inside the Parker at Niagara. Swings and misses at that one. And it is 0-2. I should say Niagara Falls. Now Niagara Falls, you have the balance. I think next season, whoever wins the season series between Niagara and Niagara Falls gets to keep the Niagara name. The other team has to change it. It's too confusing.
The Niagara Ironbacks, after all, do play in St. Catharines, Ontario.
Yeah, I mean, St. Catharines Ironbacks, Ontario. Well, it sounded good until I tried to say it. Ontario Ironbacks actually has a nice
ring to it. SC, combine the 2 initials, get the Sirenbacks.
Hey, there you go.
And you're cooking up a name.
Yeah. You could do like the SC logo, something, I'm not good at making logos. That one up high, 2-2.
Surely there's probably some extra incentive from Jacob Moniz to get Nico Frizzell back after the long torch job from Frizzell, his first trip to the plate versus Moniz.
And the pitch. Called strike
beautiful.
3, and the inning is over. But the Tarp Skunks put 2 on the board. We go to the top of the 9th inning. It's 15-10 Jamestown.
What's life like in Chautauqua County? It's where small-town charm meets world-class culture, where your downtime gets an upgrade across miles of lakes, state parks, and vibrant local vineyards, where you can live the high life at a low cost as your dollars go further and your roots grow deeper. Whether you're building a business or advancing your career, settling down or settling up, choose Chautauqua County, where every step you take is toward the life you love. Start your next chapter at livechq.org. What's life like in Chautauqua County? It's where small-town charm meets world-class culture, where your downtime gets an upgrade across miles of lakes, state parks, and vibrant local vineyards, where you can live the high life at a low cost as your dollars go further and your roots grow deeper. Whether you're building a business or advancing your career, settling down or settling up, choose Chautauqua County, where every step you take is toward the life you love. Start your next chapter at livechq.org.
New pitcher for the Jamestown Tarp Skunks is going to be Jason Brown. Coming in, his last appearance was one pitch that ended the ball game against Batavia. He will face Castro, Baker, and Smith. 4, 5, 6 due up for the Pioneers in the top of the 9th inning. In a game where if the Tarp Skunks hold on, they will mathematically take over first place from the Batavia Muck Dogs, who lost their game tonight against the Niagara Falls Americans by a final score of 9-7. And Farrell Hudson here to tell you about the top of the 9th.
Well, thank you, Dre, and once again, thank you, everybody, for sticking on CCS-TV, home of Tarp Skunks baseball. Pios and Tarp Skunks, 4th matchup of the season, 15-10, Jamestown leads as we enter the visitors' half of the 9th inning. New pitcher in the ballgame, it's Jashawn Brown. He appeared in the opener against the Pioneers back on May 30th as he fires fastball outside, 5, 6, and 7 in the Pioneers' order. Baker, Smith, and Wagner, and it starts with Brett Baker. 1-0 from Brown. Inside and high, 2-0. Pioneers with 2 separate 5-run innings. First came in the top of the 5th, the second in the top of the 8th, where Elmira played it across 5 runs on 3 hits. Stranded a runner on base. Swing and a miss from Baker, 2-1.
Yeah, just on Brown not coming out messing around with any of his off-speed pitches, just coming straight at the zone. Put it over the plate, trust your defense.
With a 5-run lead, seems like the prudent decision, but he misses high with a fastball here. Count 3-1. 10 runs on 12 hits and 5 errors for the Pioneers. 15 runs on 10 hits and 2 errors for the Tarp Skunks. 3-1, swing and a miss. Brett chased a fastball over the outer third. Might have dove even further across the plate out of the batter's box, and the count runs full. Brown working quickly, comes set, right side of the rubber, winds and fires home a payoff pitch, a swing and a miss. Baker down on strikes.
The crowd here at Detrick Park really coming alive as they can feel first place coming up. And hate to say it, hate to harp on it. Well, no, I don't. It has been a long season. And, of course, there are still games after tonight. So, Tarp Skunks will have their destiny in their hand if they complete this game tonight. 2 against Niagara and then at Batavia on Sunday to close out the season. And I think realistically at this point in the season, that's kind of where you want to be, is to have the destiny in your own hands and not have to worry and scoreboard watch and hope somebody else does something for you. Tonight, hopefully for the Skunks, is the last night of that.
Absolutely. Certainly a luxury that the Skunks, should they be able to hold on to the ball game, will enjoy. 1-1 to Smith. Bases empty and 1 out. 5-run lead for Jamestown in the top of the 9th. 2-1 on Smith. Cooper in the ball game. 2 for 4. Or rather, he's reached base in 2 of 4 plate appearances. 1 for 3. Rocketed a double to deep center in the top of the 2nd. 2-1 Smith. Jams the inside fastball off his hands, back to the screen, and the count levels.
Tarp Skunks fans, don't forget our final regular season game is this Friday against the Niagara Ironbacks. It is Christmas in July, presented by Collaborative Children's Solutions and Culture Care Senior Living. There will be post-game fireworks after the game.
Burdine sets and fires. Called strike 3 outside corner to Smith. Cooper not thrilled with that call. A couple words for the plate umpire as he departs.
He might have a legitimate claim. First and foremost, the outside part of the plate is covered in dirt. The umpire hasn't cleaned it off, so I don't know where he's gauging his calls on the outside corners. You know, yes, it's not my team, but I think he might have gotten hosed there a little bit.
To be fair with you, Dre, I'm not going to disagree because Cooper Smith is one of the most mild-mannered guys you'll see, one of the most polite guys with umpires. And, you know, again, in all fairness to an umpire strike zone, not an easy job, but certainly seems as if the plate might have gotten a little getaway day there. 0-1 fouled off, and the Pioneers are down to their final strike in the ballgame. Righty-on-righty matchup, 0-2 the count from Jashawn Brown to Carl Wagner as Tarp Skunks fans begin to get on their feet. 5-run lead. Jamestown looking to advance to what would be 18-5 across 23 ball games from Detrick Park. Pioneers, should they drop the ball game, would go to 8-12 on the road. Brown sets and fires 0-2. Breaking ball, that one not on the outside corner. So, bit of some interesting decision-making from the plate umpire, nonetheless.
It was a choice. Maybe he felt bad for ringing it up.
Emotion's a bit high in this ball game. 1-2. That one outside corner, and that's a called strike 3 to Wagner, and the ball game is over.
The Jamestown Tarp Skunks defeat the Elmira Pioneers by a final score of 15-10. The Tarp Skunks record will improve to 27-13. Elmira will drop to 21-18-1. Our next broadcast is going to be Friday against the Niagara Ironbacks, 6:30 p.m. right here on CSS. I want to thank Farrell Hudson for joining me here in the booth tonight. I had an absolute blast. I had a great time tonight, and I was glad you're able to do this with me here tonight.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you, Dre, and respect to Patrick Smeraldo, the GM of CCS-TV, for allowing this opportunity tonight. Great night with you and the entire crew here, and respectful and appreciative of all that you guys do with the Tarp Skunks and CCS Television, inspiring the hopefully future generation of young broadcasters here in Jamestown. So thank you, Dre. I appreciate it. And if this is the end of the line for the Pioneers, 4 more regular season ball games, best of luck to your Tarp Skunks as they embark on a new journey and a new destination in the PGCBL playoffs.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Farrell. Again, Farrell Hudson, the play-by-play announcer for the Elmira Pioneers, joining me tonight. The Jamestown Tarp Skunks leave Detrick Park tonight in first place, 0.005 percentage points ahead of the Batavia Muck Dogs. We are idle tomorrow, back here on Friday to finish out the final 3 games of the season. For everybody running the cameras, for everyone in the production booth, for Farrell Hudson, I'm Dre Guinness, thanking you very much for joining us here tonight. We hope to see you on Friday for the series season finale here at Detrick Park. And until then, good night, everybody.